Hosted by Steve, Jenny, and his satanic assistant, Alex Houdini, both of whom can't go into churches without vomiting.
Well, flying solo tonight. Alex is again tending to some issues, and he'll be back soon, hopefully. But welcome to Nocturnal Frequency Radio. I would say listening to, but tonight we're just YouTube and Twitch, and the audio will be replayed on New Visions later throughout the week. So I want to welcome Ben. How are you, sir? It's been a while.
Hi, Steve. It's great to be back.
Yeah.
We were. I think we were doing. It was Gareth's anniversary, wasn't it?
I think that was last time you were on. Yeah, I think it was.
It was Gareth. We did a special show on the first year after we lost him. And I think that was the last show I was on. Yeah, but happy May Day, everybody who's listening.
That's right.
Or whatever you're doing tomorrow, whether you're going on a protest or just going to a bonfire festival, enjoy yourselves.
And it's big over there, right? May Day?
Yes, here in Oxford, we have a 500-year-old tradition called May Morning, where we all go down to the city centre, and it's at Magdalen College. The choir ascends to the top of the big tower and sings to literally the streets are crowded with people, and there's lots of drunk students and things like that. It's quite good fun. It seems the weather forecast is nice tomorrow. I'm going to get up and go along. I don't do it every year, but I'm going to this year.
You're going to do it this year? And I guess things have been kind of squashed because of the pandemic.
Yes, I mean, it's really weird, right? Because I don't recall another instance in all its 500 years that May Morning was cancelled. It went on during the Civil War. It went on during the Blitz. But along comes this horrible, nasty disease, and suddenly for 2 years running, it's just not happening. It's like very odd, that, isn't it?
It is. It's very odd. It's very odd. So, I've been trying to catch a lot of the streams that you've been doing. And again, as always, you're a wealth of knowledge. I mean, everybody knows that.
Oh, thanks. Well, I do so many. I don't expect everyone to watch them. I haven't watched every one of your shows. It's just there's so much out there. I do so many.
I know it's crazy, man. But like I said, it's always great to have you on, and welcome back, my friend. And so, anyways, I've had this thing going on where I've been thinking about the whole UFO culture.
You can't get away from it, can you?
You can't get away from it. But
subject number one.
It's funny. And what came to mind was the fact that how things have changed over the years that we've been documenting, if you will, these aliens and these UFOs and stuff like that. May they be governmental or extraterrestrial, who knows, whatever, either or. Well, let's get it clear. So what do you think the average is, Ben, that most of these sightings, what do you say the percentage are extraterrestrial, do you think?
Right, well, according to Project Blue Book, 67% had an easy explanation. It doesn't mean the explanation was correct. It just means that the scientist, J. Allen Hynek, and his colleagues deduced that this was the cause. Obviously, it turns out later, as Hynek admitted, that Project Blue Book was a whitewash anyway. Mm-hmm. But the 33% that were unexplained there was the difference between the known unknowns and the unknown unknowns, to use modern technology, modern terminology. Sure, I'd say that the majority of reports probably are mistaken identity. And the interesting ones are the ones, I think, where you have, for example, close encounters where something is not only can't be explained, it defies explanation. Yeah. It is something that if it was an airplane or a box kite or a weather balloon or something, the witness would be close enough and would be able to see it in enough detail to know what it was, and they don't. They report something very different. Those are the interesting ones, I think, and unfortunately there were not many of those, but they do happen. They happen regularly.
So they're rare. Would you say
They are.
like a lot of things in the great unknown? Obviously, it's a certain, just a small percentage of it is unexplainable, and quite possibly in the the case of the UFOs or whatever, could be extraterrestrial.
Well, we don't know what they are. I mean, some of them are. I mean, I don't think there's any other explanation for some of them other than they are artifacts of some kind of intelligence that is not human. There's no real other explanation that fits some of these instances.
Well, I mean, there's a running commentary that this the Earth has had many civilizations over the years, right?
I've heard that people have said, well, maybe there was a civilization in the past, a human one like Atlantis, or maybe an even older one.
Could it be possible that perhaps this civilization became so advanced and was somehow destroyed by a comet or something hitting the Earth and just completely devastating it, but by then they had taken off and went to a different planet or whatever.
And they want to come back.
And they want to come back and haunt us. No, no.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, there's someone was actually, who was it who was talking about this the other day? But he said that there was actually a civilization on Mars in the distant past. There was actually there was an intelligent animal species on Mars that reached a high level of technology and sophistication, intelligence. And of course, Mars today is an airless, dry world. Of course, but scientists say in the past it was different. It had running water, which means it must have been an awful lot warmer there, and it must have had a thicker atmosphere, more like the Earth.
Quinn's asking, biological, bin, or chemical? What do you think?
Well, biology is just a form of chemistry, Quinn.
Yeah.
I mean, it's life. We could talk about the mystery of life and the miracle of life even, but life is actually not a miracle. It is scientifically explicable. And it's wherever you go on this earth, you will find it, and it appears it adapts and evolves to almost any environment. I mean, places where people previously thought that there'd be nothing but sterility, such as the inside of a volcanic vent on the ocean floor, or even in the water, the coolant of a nuclear reactor. People said, well, those will be sterile areas, and they are not. There is life of various kinds that have adapted to that environment. Extremophiles, they're called. So I think we know that wherever it emerges, it just evolves, it adapts, it spreads out, and so we shouldn't be surprised to find it on other planets. We really shouldn't.
The possibility too. I mean, for say intelligent life out there, could it be possible that it is on a whole different frequency, like a different dimension sort of aspect?
Yes,
something that we're not able to perhaps tune into properly yet.
Yeah, I mean, when you consider how real UFOs are so different from those depicted by science fiction, or even though science fiction is very often based on real ufology. I mean, films like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, for example, is very well researched by Steven Spielberg. He did a very good job of research on that. It's the way they behave is, I think, it is consistent with creatures which we may actually have real trouble communicating with. Rather, as the philosopher Ludwig Wittgenstein said, he was also a hospital porter, by the way. He said, even if a lion could speak, we still could not understand him, in indicating there's a difference of mindset, that it may be really vast. The film Arrival is probably the best alien invasion film ever made. And the reason what makes it so interesting is that the film, the center of the story is that we can't really speak to these aliens until we've really worked. We have to work really, really hard to learn their language and find some kind of means of communication between us. You forget all these, people who forget all this. Take me to your leader stuff, and revenge is a dish best served cold, and all these other cliches you get in science fiction. If we really came across, if something landed, the first people we'd have to call, like in the film, are linguists.
Yeah.
And indeed, the central character
exactly.
is a linguistics expert. Yeah.
But I mean, and that's what we're basically getting into. I mean, the fact that how, since we've been documenting this historically and scientifically in all sorts of avenues, how our perception of these, intelligent beings, if you will, or these intelligent flying objects have changed with how our technology has changed. And why do you think that is? I mean, I've got a kind of an idea why, but I mean, everything from pop culture to whatever's hot that year sort of thing. But I mean, why? I mean, is there some sort of information that we certain people know that we don't know?
Do you mean in terms of the popular image of UFOs?
Yes.
It has changed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason why it could simply be it could simply be. Oh, by the way, Matthew's got the wrong. Or Matthew is. Oh well, he says also. Sorry, I thought you've got the wrong film there, Matthew. All right. No. It could be simply that different branches of the study is being highlighted. So,
Mm-hmm.
like for example, if you go back to the Earth versus Flying Saucers, a 1956 film, you'd see like the classic saucer-shaped object. Now, that's a alien invasion film that's actually quite well researched. They did actually look into the subject, and of course, you come forward to Arrival, which you just mentioned, and it's like these hovering. They call them shells, these
Mm-hmm.
crescent-shaped objects, huge crescent-shaped motherships, brightly lit objects, metallic objects. The filmmakers themselves may well be privy to some kind of information that other people are not. I mean, there's a legend that Steven Spielberg met with Ronald Reagan when he was president and was told, "Oh, actually, Steven, this stuff's true." But it could simply be they're picking up on popular culture. I mean, for example, skeptics will often say that the UFO phenomenon as we perceive it is itself. It changes according to our perception of it and
Yeah.
our culture. That doesn't quite fit because, for example, Brian Dunning of the Skeptoid podcast, he claimed that nobody saw grey aliens before 1977, and the reason is because that's when Close Encounters was released. And of course, you see the grey aliens. There's the little short ones, and there's the big grey alien in it.
Mm-hmm.
But really, Robbie Graham, who's sadly he's just passed away, which is very sad. Robbie Graham, the ufologist, he actually got hold of the production designer for that film and asked him straight out. He said, "Where'd you get the idea for those aliens? What inspired you to make them look like that?" And he says, "I phoned up some of the people who see them regularly, and they told me what they look like, and I put that in the film." So Dunning has got it completely. He's got it back to front. He's put the cart before the horse here. This is not life imitating art. This is art imitating life. In the same way that some people say things like, "Well, nobody saw flying triangles before 1990," and that's. I think there were earlier reports of those. Different types of cases are highlighted, you see, and different
Mm-hmm.
types of cases become popular. So, for example, the Space Brothers that George Adamski saw, they kind of went out of fashion and are replaced by the Greys, which you see on Close Encounters and other films.
Yeah.
However, if you look at it, people did have encounters with Greys back in the 50s. Indeed, earlier. I mean, there's for all we know, these things have been around since the year dot. So they appear in cave paintings, 30,000, 40,000 years old.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, though, people today will still occasionally see the blonde Nordics.
Yeah.
Except they're just not really. They haven't really influenced popular culture the way that the Greys do these days. Maybe something will replace them at some point. The actual phenomenon itself, though, appears not to change that much. From what I can gather, it's there. It's a ubiquitous part of our experience, and it doesn't. There are no major changes that I can detect.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to tell because we see it through the lens of research and things like that.
What about popular? What about popular, say, interactions or abduction stories like ones that come to mind that somehow will kind of rewrite the way we have seen these I don't want to say creatures, but beings, if you will.
Those are still going on. Contact experience is still
Yeah,
going
yeah,
on.
yeah. Well, still
Um,
going on, but I mean,
yeah.
some of the more popular ones over the years, how it's changed our
Mm.
perception of these
Well,
beings.
I suppose the concept didn't exist in popular culture before Betty and Barney Hill, even though
Oh,
it
really?
happened.
Oh, really?
They were the first really to
They
be
were the first.
highlighted, I think.
Okay.
Um, in terms of the abduction type, the standard abduction tropes, really, I don't think they preceded them unless you heard of earlier ones.
No,
But
I
they went on television, they were interviewed, they talked about, they had an experience which, of course, many other people can relate to.
and obviously it's cases like that that sort of shook the way you know things were perceived. Period. Like I mean, like say again, like Area 51, if you will, Roswell,
Mm,
right?
yeah. Well, Area 51 was really, it was, like I said, it was never even officially acknowledged until the 90s with the Frost lawsuit.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was really pretty much unknown in popular culture. Well, I think it was Bob Lazar, I think, who really put that on the map. And yeah. Oh, hello, David. David's Splendid Isolation. And he mentions the Varginha alien. Yes, that was a scary one, wasn't it? That wasn't a grey. No, had similarities to greys, but
Sulfur,
it was
cloven
that was a scary
hooves,
one.
and
That was, yeah,
yeah.
that was a scary one. I wouldn't want to meet that.
Okay, so let's crosshatch here. What about the thought that how people have these encounters with ghosts and strange sort of experiences. Do you think there is a possibility that these incidents, these events are somehow um linked to intelligent life forms?
In terms of ghosts and spectral entities and things like
Hmm.
that, there's many different kinds, and
Yeah.
we sometimes say ghosts when it's a kind of genetic character.
Because I mean, let's
It's a
face it. I
generic.
mean,
It's generic.
most people think they see dead loved ones, or
Mm.
but they see people they don't recognize.
Yeah,
You
ghosts
know?
could be more than one thing. We've generically categorized them
Yeah.
under the label ghost, but it could be more than one phenomenon. For example, um, some ghosts appear unresponsive. They don't actually speak
So
back. When you look at them,
residual,
they
the
don't seem to hear you.
residual, yeah,
It's almost if there's some kind of residual image, like a stone
yeah.
tape. It's a stone tape thing. People say stone tape, which is a silly term because no one knows the mechanism of how it happens. But somehow it's almost like you're seeing something that happened there before, long ago. Um, others do respond to you. Sometimes there are people see the ghosts of loved ones who passed away. What's really interesting is that do you know that people sometimes see the ghosts of living people?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They
Yep.
do. See someone who they'll recognize and speak to, and then they'll realize that person couldn't possibly have been there. It's strange, isn't it? It's very strange.
Gareth's brother Richard's in chat there.
Oh,
Ben,
hey, Richard.
it's good to see you, Richard.
Nice to see you again, mate. Nice to see you. I've
Yeah,
met him a couple of times.
yeah, yeah. I've heard that quite often, Ben. People have seen and kind of if something like that. I don't know about you. Would that be kind of wearisome? Like, is that foretelling that this person's going to pass away soon,
I don't know. I mean,
or didn't? You know?
I don't know. I mean, I know that the doppelganger is supposedly bad news because there are several famous cases of famous people who've seen doppelgangers. The doppelganger literally means it's a German word. It means you're walking double,
Hmm. Yep.
and it refers to an entity that looks exactly like you. It may, in the case of my doppelganger, it was wearing different clothes.
Hmm.
It was wearing clothes that I never wear. Yeah, it was certainly me, and I was put out. I was concerned by that because I know very well that in the case of, for example, Percy Shelley, the poet, he reported seeing his doppelganger. He was actually staying in Italy with some friends, and he was about to. They were going to go out sailing on a boat, and he saw his doppelganger in his bedroom, and then later on, couple of hours later, he was dead because the boat sank and everyone on it drowned. Abraham Lincoln also saw his doppelganger just before he left for the Ford Theatre on that fateful night in 1865. He mentioned that he saw, I saw something that looked just like me. And of course, we all know what happened soon afterwards.
Exactly.
So I was very careful crossing the road on my way home then. But mind you, that was years ago. That was about over 10 years ago now, and I'm okay. So
you're okay, yeah.
But I did see my doppelganger. A doppelganger is
Wait a second.
Thing. Yeah.
Are we communicating with a ghost right now?
God, I hope not.
So going back to the UFO aspect, and what are some of your favorite cases then? Some of the cases that you continuously fall back on and go, wow, this.
Well, there's so many, but I mean, to give you an example, recently there's the Calvine incident, which now the picture behind me is not the photograph that was taken. This is a facsimile; it's an artist's impression. This has come up. The reason I'm highlighting this one is because it has resurfaced after more than 30 years.
That's the one that was taken in Scotland, right?
Yes, the photograph. What happened was it was taken near Pitlochry in Scotland.
Yeah,
two young guys who worked at the hotel there, the Hydro Hotel, were out hiking in the woods, in the hills in the Cairngorm National Park. It's a lovely area if you ever go there. There was rumours about what they were doing. I mean, some people said they might have been poaching and trying to grab some pheasants for the pot at the hotel, which of course is highly illegal, especially if the hotel management put them up to it, which is one of the reasons they've kept quiet probably. But they caught a very different game. What happened was they heard a noise and they saw an object flying past them. This is not it, but it's diamond-shaped object here. This is very good, actually. It looks very much like the real thing, and which you can see there. And they had the sense to get their camera out and take some photos of it. It was accompanied by a very obvious aeroplane there. That's an RAF Harrier jet. It appeared to be escorting. We don't know if it was an interception or an escort. But after that, they have received they actually reported their sighting to the Ministry of Defence, and a guy called Craig Lindsay went round there, who was the RAF press officer for Scotland, and took the film off them. It was reported on the Daily Record, but the photographs were actually confiscated by the Ministry of Defence. Although Mr. Lindsay himself kept a print, he kept a big print, and no one knew about this print even existed because we really didn't know anything about what this photo looked like, apart from a very crude photocopy. And an artist produced what you see behind you, which apparently was on Nick Pope's office wall. And then, lo and behold, last year, out of the blue, the original photograph was found, or a copy of it, because Craig Lindsay, who's now 86. Said, "Oh, I've got a print here. Do you want to see it?" And he showed it to Dave Clark, who's he's this ufologist. It's strange that Dave Clark was involved. I think it's a case of the chain breaking by its weakest link, because this guy's a big time skeptic. But credit where credit is due. He handled this case very well indeed, and he's very honest about it. He showed this photograph, the real photograph.
Was the
real one?
Sorry, I'm assuming the photo was scrutinized beyond belief.
Yes, the actual real one, which is this one.
That's
the actual photo there, which is behind my head. Yeah, it was looked over very closely by. There's the plane there. You can just see. It's slightly out of frame. It was looked over very closely by people, including Clark, because he looked at the print, and he says this is really amazing because we have this distinct, strangely shaped object. It doesn't look like any kind of aeroplane that he's familiar with. It's perfectly focused. It's obviously not too far away. It's very well focused. According to the report, it was silently. Excuse me. It was hovering silently.
Yeah.
And it's apparently levitated directly vertically up into the air. Now, Clark thinks that's a second-hand statement and it doesn't really hold any weight. I'm not so sure. We won't know until we speak to the original photographer.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's currently they're trying to track him down. They think they know his name. It's unfortunately it's quite a common name actually, Keith Russell. So yeah, they're trying to find all the Keith Russells they know. This one guy, he's in one moment he's in Glasgow, the next day, oh no, he's in Falkirk. Then he's living on some island off the west coast of Scotland. It's like, so there's several different Keith Russells they're looking for. Oh, Snarnock, how you
gotta
doing?
love
Yeah.
it. Io walks.
He mentions the Hopkinsville case. That was good. The Hopkinsville one. That was a good one. Yeah, that was amazing. That.
Yeah, Richard was asking about Brazil's Roswell and David.
The Varginha case. Yeah, that's an amazing one, isn't it? So that's these are there's so many really good cases. It's hard to know where to go. But really, the Calvine one is interesting because it was a cold case basically. People had just forgotten about it, and then suddenly it's been reignited by the discovery of this photo.
Well, and that's all it takes, right? Just something to pop back into, consciousness, and just like, wow.
Even after all these years,
After all these years, it's. I mean, let's face it. It's. I looked at the photo and I'm like, wow, it's fascinating.
It is, and it's literally almost the exact same time length with Roswell, because that was forgotten about too until 1978 when. When Jesse met Stan, and that's what kicked that off again.
If you're going to scrutinize it, if you're going to scrutinize it, Ben, what would you do with that photo?
Well, the original negative, of course, we don't have.
Yeah, obviously.
Yes, so this is a problem. But all you can tell from this is because it's just a single paper print. It's a large one.
Mm-hmm.
It was an enlargement which Lindsay had, and he kept. All we can see is it's been examined. Clark has actually shown it to some experts in photography, and they can't see any signs of tampering. And bear in mind that this was in 1990. In those days, the ability to tamper with photographs, which is so common today, it's essentially ruined the entire field of the entire sector of evidence, was not present. You couldn't just get some AI bot to produce you a nice little image. Tampering with photographs would leave signs. It would leave signs where a photographic expert would be able to spot that this was a composite image or something like that.
I mean, we don't want the same sort of scenario to play out like what's his name? Michael Horn was touting for years. What was that Swiss guy there? I forget his name. I keep forgetting. Billy Meyer, like his photos, right? Because I mean, a lot.
It's you can see, like, I mean, I know some people swear they're real, and I can't. If people want to, I don't know enough about the case to dispute it, but the actual images look very much like just something bobbing on a piece of string.
More or less,
that's what they look like to me.
More or less, yeah. I mean, I do have a background in photography, and just I have a hard time. I mean, it's an interesting story. Don't get me wrong, the whole Palladian thing and all that, but the photos, but like I said, that photo there from the Scottish case, it's fascinating. Very
it
fascinating.
Really is. I mean, I really hope we find out more about this. I don't think we're going to get the original negatives because Clark did contact the MOD for his MP, and they said no, they are classified. They will be till 2076, which we'll all be dead by then. So, but I mean, who knows? That could change. We could get more information. Keith Russell and his companion may decide to come forward and tell us things.
Yeah, the question you pose: why was that fighter jet? Was it escorting it somewhere? Like what was it doing up there with it?
This is an important point because the jet itself is actually a Stryker aircraft. It's usually used against land targets.
Oh wow! Okay,
so it's more for dropping bombs rather than intercepting things in the air. Although it could be that was all they had on the runway that day. All the other planes might have been broken down or been fixed or something. So people have speculated that it's actually not intercepting this craft. It is escorting it. And this is, see, some people claim that this is actually not ET. It's actually some kind of secret aircraft. And what they've mentioned in particular is the Aurora, because this is a legendary, supposedly it's the next generation of spy plane after the U-2 and the SR-71, which of course were classified in their early history. So there's no doubt that there are aircraft out there that are probably research projects which are not.
Did we though have that technology back then, do you think?
You see, if it would only, this theory would only fit if the testimony about it hovering silently and then shooting directly upward was not true. And we won't know that until we talk to the actual photographer. We won't know whether that's true or not, because if he says that, then we got to say, well, it can't be some kind of airplane. It can't be the Aurora. Clark is convinced it is. He's convinced. He didn't say Aurora, but he's convinced it's some kind of secret government technology, which can't be ruled out at this point.
No,
I think it's unlikely. The reason I think it's unlikely is because its behavior. It was actually it was not in a very remote location. It was over a main road called the A9, which runs around the south of the Cairngorm Mountains, and it's supposedly based at RAF Machrihanish, which is in Argyll, which, if you look on a map, is a very long way away. And in order to get from that spot to the Cairngorms, you do have to fly over some populated areas, not least the suburbs of the city of Glasgow, places like that. Scotland is a very sparsely populated country, but there are still big cities, especially in the south and central regions of the country. Which means if you did have an experimental aircraft, you wouldn't be doing that. You would have a secret airway like they have over Area 51, connecting it to the sea, and you would only probably have nighttime deployments and things like that. Nighttime deployments, and they would head straight over the Atlantic Ocean, probably, where they wouldn't be seen. We wouldn't be flying over at a low altitude over central Scotland. So that behaviour makes me believe it's probably not one of ours. Could it be in other countries? Again, it'll be an invasion of our airspace, and
exactly. And that's perhaps why it's being escorted.
It could be. It comes from another country. In which case, what country is it? What capabilities do they have? I mean, this was really, the Cold War was kind of really wound down by that point. This was 1990, so it was unlikely it's Soviet, because the Soviet Union had enough of its own problems. It was actually collapsing, and in fact, it ended just barely a year later. It was not in any position to be taking offensive or reconnaissance missions over Britain. There was no position to do that.
Matt says it's too massive to be a drone blip. So
in those days, they actually didn't have drones like we have today. As for a blimp, like an airship, that would fit with it being silent. Although, you see, someone actually suggested that. Someone actually told me, it's a target drone, which the RAF use, as it reflects radar and it's used in exercises. So I said, well, they even said what it was called, and so I googled that, and I couldn't find any image of it anywhere. Couldn't find any image of this in the public domain of any kind of target balloon like that. So that to me sounds like this person isn't just made that up.
Okay, so another case that you're like, okay, this is incredible.
I think David mentioned Varginha, which I think is he mentioned the Varginha alien, which is really extraordinary. He says it looks like a demon. There was three young girls who saw it, two teenagers. One was two girls, one was a young woman. They describe it as they went home and told their mother, and they said they'd seen the devil, which is very interesting, because I don't think these girls are really, they're not UFO enthusiasts. They didn't say alien, they said devil.
Well, maybe that's all they can. Yeah.
These are rural, inland, working class Brazilians. It's unthinkable they'd be anything other than devout Roman Catholics, and they saw what they did, and they interpreted according to their faith.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
the mother's a brave lady. She grabbed a rolling pin and said, "No devil's messing with my daughter." And she went there, and they found footprints. They found footprints in the mud. Oh, David's just mentioned the Westall incident. Now that's another good one. Yeah, that's in Australia.
Oh, I'm not familiar with that one.
You never heard of the Westall
I've
incident?
never. I might have, but I'm off the top of my head. No, I've never heard of that one.
This is well, you're in for a treat.
Oh, great.
1966. I think it was April, actually, 66. There was in a, in an area called Claiborne, which is a suburb of Melbourne, Australia.
Okay.
There's a school called the Westall School. It's still there, and amazingly, there was these children who were in school, and some were in their classes, others were doing games. They were playing games outside in a PE lesson, and a number of silver discs flew over the school, and they flew over the school and landed next to it in an area called the Grange, which is a patch of waste ground, which was there's some parkland and some bushes and things there. And the children, of course, curiosity got the better of them. They all rushed out of the school to go and see it. I mean, I think the teachers were trying to stop them, but they just weren't listening. And over 200 of the school's pupils actually ran over to the Grange area that day, and a large number of them saw the object. The object actually landed, and it was broad daylight. It was during school hours. One of the objects, I think, landed in the Grange, and the children actually were very close to it. There's several documentaries about this, like people called by Shane Ryan, Keith Basterfield, and people like that who've researched this. The children, who of course now are mature adults, stand by their story. They stand by the story, and they it seems unlikely. Then the other teachers, so Dinkum Aussie. So glad we got an Australian here. Yep. Mr. Greenwood, the science teacher, he was actually a trainee teacher at the time. He'd only just sort of qualified. He'd not been at the school long. He was not much older than some of the kids, actually, and he was visited by a couple of people. Well, he describes them as being from the Royal Australian Air Force, but then he said they hadn't got the uniforms quite right. So it's probably likely they were not really RAAF officers. They were probably from the ACIO, Australian Secret Intelligence Service, and they basically said to him, "Don't ever say a word about this, or we'll tell the local education authority you're an alcoholic and you'll be out. You'll never teach again."
Of course.
And he was terrified. And he didn't say a word. But then suddenly, James Fox, this is what's really weird. After 2017, this has been a catalyzing effect, the 2017 articles about UAP, because that's when Fox, Mr. Greenwood, Andrew Greenwood, he agreed to do an interview. He's a 70-year-old odd guy now, and he agreed to do an interview. For the first time in like 55 years, he sat down in front of a camera and told this reporter what happened. First, he was shot from the back. He didn't show his face. He has recently appeared on Channel 7 in Australia. Full frontal facial interview.
Yeah.
And he's gone public, and it appears. But, to keep quiet for all that time, he must have been really scared, because over the years, lots of ufologists have tried to approach him, and he has refused to have anything to do with them.
And that's another thing I wanted to talk to you about, Ben. The fact that a lot of these guys that are bringing forth all this information about this realm and how they're supposedly being hassled by, the FBI or some secret intelligence sort of men in black. I mean, what's the deal?
For that kind of behavior from the state, and you see, there's a school of thought that says the men in black are actually not actually human, and I go along with that. So,
and I was going to ask you what your thoughts about these men in black.
You see, first of all, people who are undoubtedly human and actually state actors, and some of them even identify themselves, do approach UFO witnesses and tell them not to say anything. Mm-hmm. They tell them not to say anything. Yeah. Even young kids, they said, "Don't talk to your friends at school about what you saw," and things like that. Indeed, this guy Keith Russell, who took this photograph here, he received visits from people who were obviously human, suited officials, saying basically, "Don't talk about this. Okay, we're going to take your photographs. You mustn't talk about this." Others, and that's generally what happens. On other occasions, there are threats involved, threats of violence, threats of other forms of social retribution. As you say, Andrew Greenwood was threatened with being having his teaching career ended just when it began. Things like that. Newspapers and radio shows are threatened with, don't talk about this, otherwise you'll lose your license and things like that. You won't be able to broadcast. We'll shut your paper down. Stuff like that. It turns out the kind of visits and from officials where you get the most intimidation, the most aggression. There's other strange factors as well, such as Mr. Greenwood actually saying that the uniforms weren't quite right on these officers who approached him, indicating they were not really from the RAAF. You get other situations like that. Sometimes it gets even weirder. You get people who they'll turn up in cars which seem to be very old-fashioned, but they look brand new, like they've just come off the line, but they're obviously quite old cars. Sometimes they'll wear these dark sunglasses and have really pasty skin, and sometimes they'll look like they're wearing lipstick. That's another one. Like it's not a real human face. And sometimes their voices will sound a bit strange, like as if they're not real human voices. And those are the ones who tend to be the most scary. Those are the ones who tend to make the worst kinds of threats.
Well, because when you're looking at these people, they're just you don't know what to make of them.
Yeah.
So of course, it would be unusual, right?
People who have encounters with men in black find them very, very. It's very unpleasant. It's very frightening.
Ben, have you ever been visited by a men in black?
I could tell you, no, and I'm quite glad. I'm not sure.
Oh, wait a second, you can't say anything, can you?
Well, I would say that probably I probably would anyway. I probably wouldn't. I wouldn't be able to stop myself saying something, I think.
So okay, so what about Canadian cases? What was one that compels you
from Canada? So no offense to Canada.
That's fine.
I'm trying to. There was a photo. There was a photo. Yeah. So there was a photograph. This came out a little while ago. It was a photograph apparently also taken in the 1990s by some hikers near Quebec City.
Okay. Yeah.
And it appeared to show some kind of grey alien. Now, I can't remember all the details of this, but the photograph obviously it's. Excuse me. It's winter time. It's heavy snow. It's dark. There was some kind of like crash retrieval there. There was apparently the Mounties went in there with their trucks and took everything away. And I don't know what happened to all the photographs. Obviously, a couple of photographs weren't confiscated because they were published. But how real it is, I don't know. I don't know much about the case, but that did interest me. If that's a real case, that's obviously a very interesting one because the creature looks very weird.
I must investigate that.
It's kind of a dark orange brown skinned creature with big black eyes, a kind of grey type creature. If I can find the details for you somewhere.
And when did this happen again? Roughly,
it took place in the early 90s.
Interesting.
It is. It's if that's real, that's quite something. Was it on? Oh, was it on? Not Third Phase of the Moon. It was on. I know that. Secure Team 10. I know these channels have reputations because I think some of these UFO channels just publish anything they can just to keep making videos. And indeed, Tyler of Secure Team and Third Phase have actually championed some really, really dodgy stuff. And I think they need to be a bit more selective. However, occasionally they do bring up some really, really interesting cases. They really do. They come across things that are really, really significant.
I'm just seeing if I can.
It's really, these things are kind of, I suppose, maybe more common than we think. Maybe they're just kind of regular.
It's funny. I've witnessed something myself. I've filmed something myself. But
really.
Oh yeah, I could show you the footage, but the thing is, It was from what 2004,
Oh,
and it was taken with a camera phone. And back then, cameras on phones were just absolutely horrible.
I remember they were just like I put a link in the public chat to this
Okay,
video.
I'll
Oh
take a
yeah,
look at it.
I remember because in they were just like fuzzy. You get these really fuzzy things.
Horrible.
Yeah, today you can almost shoot a Hollywood movie on a mobile phone. I
Oh
know,
yeah. Look,
you know.
so I'll tell you. I'm driving home. This is about 4 o'clock in the morning. So I'm driving home down this suburban road, um, lit, but not extremely lit. Just enough so you can see the road. And of course, it was still dark. And I'm not too far from Lake Ontario. So, north of Lake Ontario. So Lake Ontario, when you look towards the lake, it's down in the distance, so it's lower. So I'm looking, and I see some lights, and originally I thought, okay, maybe it's just like street lights in the background, just sort of zipping by, sort of thing, right? Didn't think anything of it. Then, like, wait a sec, they're staying with me. So I
I'm
look over,
moving.
I'm like, yeah, these things are just in the sky above the lake, and they're just doing all sorts of weird maneuvering, you know and the speed of them was just incredible. So and these things were just small orange orb like. And so I kept driving until I got to an intersection, pulled over up the road to face the lake to watch these things and film them. And by then, originally there was about four of them, and one of them had taken off or lured beyond the horizon. I couldn't see it anymore. But two of them were still farting around, just going, "Okay, what the hell? This is just incredible." Right. But unfortunately, like I mean, the footage I put it up on YouTube, but the footage is just not. It's horrible. And I said, I'm not far from home. I'm going to zip on home, grab a camcorder, and see if I can capture these things. But of course, by the time I get home, get my camcorder and go to a position where I can, have good footage of this, they were gone.
No.
But I wasn't the only person that witnessed those. A friend of mine who was on his way to work witnessed the same objects.
Oh, good.
And he went as far as calling the military base in the area, the airport, and asked about certain things. Of course, they're not going to tell you everything. They're not going to disclose anything. But I mean, you hear, oh, they're the Chinese lanterns. What? Flares? No, they weren't flares. None of that shit, But I don't know. I've never shown you the footage.
I've never seen it. No, I've never seen this
Oh, here,
footage.
let me pull. Let me
I'd
pull
love to
that up.
see it. 'Cause
Let me pull
very
up
often, I
here.
mean, I'm not if it's not good quality, I won't be disappointed because it kind of goes with the course, especially in the old days when, like they say, portable cameras weren't that good. Um, Very often the witness description is much better,
Yeah.
and that's very often because the person is like getting there. They've got the camera out, and as you say, it's not usually very good quality. They don't focus, and they're not
No,
in a position
it's
to
it's
just a
horrible.
normal camera, not a sky watching camera.
And
And very often they're very excited or very frightened, and their hands are trembling.
yeah.
As a result, you just see this light bobbing all over the place like that. Oh, and but very often what the person actually perceives is a lot more impressive. But yeah,
Okay.
by all means, I'd like to see it.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. So right here, you have the traffic lights right here,
Hmm.
right? And then you got a car coming at me. You'll have cars coming at me, and you're going to hear. You're going to. You're going to hear my hazards going, and right here is one of them. Right here, you see
Yes.
that little dot there. So here you go. That's just a reflection up there. Same with that, but this is an actual in the sky, in the distance, roughly about over Lake Ontario. So, like I said, the quality is horrible, but it is what it is. But I figured, hey,
Yeah.
I might as well try something, you know.
Yeah, at least you'd made an attempt to capture the evidence,
Yeah.
which is good, which is what it's necessary. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know, whatever. Apparently, it's wasn't the first time that somebody had witnessed these objects in the sky above Lake Ontario. There's literally hundreds of reports over the years. So, is it military? I don't know. Quite
It's
possibly.
with just lights. Unfortunately, you can't see clear enough with those lights at night. It's but there's a connection. Strange sightings over large lakes is quite common. The idea that there are
Mhm.
lakes. In fact, Sean Kirkpatrick, this guy who's just been speaking to the U.S. Senate, he wrote like a research paper with Avi Loeb, a scientist who thought that Oumuamua, this interstellar rock, might actually be artificial, saying that the aliens actually are interested. They're actually taking water from the planet. I mean, that's speculation. Of course, we don't know that, but they do seem to. They like the sea and lakes. It turns out. It could be they're taking water from the planet. We don't know, from Earth.
Yeah, strange. Okay, so what do you think this latest thing out of Vegas, the sighting out of Vegas?
No, this is remarkable because there's no footage of what happened here, although footage must exist because this was at a baseball game. What you do see, it's on this outkick.com. Is that a baseball
Here, I'll pull it
thing?
up here.
Yeah, outkick.com. You do see two of the witnesses being interviewed. Only one of them speaks, but you do see two witnesses being interviewed. And they describe what happened. It should be, if this it is a big city. Las Vegas is a large city, and this is like a baseball state. There's
This
going to be
looks like
multiple witnesses.
this looks like it's on the outskirts because you can see the Vegas Strip in the background. So hold on here, let's pull it up here, and then just
Oh, is this footage?
yeah.
All right. Oh, I couldn't. Why me?
Is it a UFO? We can't figure it out. So a viewer reaching out saw these large bright
I
lights
didn't know there was footage.
over the strip in downtown. He says they're bigger than the helicopters we see circling many times. And we just heard back from Nellis. They say not involved in this. So if you think you know what these are, or you've seen these, you can reach out, let us know right on our website.
Did I hear them say that the Nellis Air Force Base aren't involved in it?
Yeah. Here, I'll play it again.
Right. Yeah. It actually mentions in that article that they've denied involvement. Presumably, if this is. Could it be? If it's private drones? Could it be private drones?
Quite possibly, right?
Reaching out saw these large bright lights in the skies.
I mean, it could be that, but I mean, if that's the case, it should be very obvious. We can find that out.
Circling many times.
We should find out if it's a drone display.
It could be, but as you can see, there's a strip there down there. So I mean, this is on the outskirts. But yeah, that was my initial thought. That it quite possibly is some sort of drone thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's the people who saw it. I mean, they obviously it's not something that everyone will just speak openly about. In this case, I mean, these are. I don't know what level they play at. I think it's the official U.S. Air Force team or something. They're members of.
Michael says it looks like military flares.
Well, it's not long enough to tell. I mean, do they? It's not. Well, that's just a short piece of footage.
Exactly.
But if it's military flares, what over the Las Vegas Strip? I mean, Nellis Air Force Base say it's not them who did it. Who did it? I mean, why and who are they? You know, is it on a normal route where they flares have got put up?
I mean, the airport is not far from that area too. I mean, the airport's pretty much the major hub in that area too. So I mean, who knows? But I mean, let's face it. drones. Much of Vegas is a no drone flying zone.
Hmm.
Guaranteed you probably can't fly drones there legally.
Yeah, I mean, imagine this like here in our country, we have the Civil Aviation Authority that
Yeah.
controls airspace, and you do have to have a license to use them. I mean, obviously Matthew knows all about that, about what
Hmm.
the laws are, but you can't just fly them anywhere.
No,
You've got to,
no.
and there's areas where you're not allowed to.
Yeah, I mean, they generally have a map that shows you where you can and where you can't
Hmm.
fly drones. So, but hey, it doesn't mean they can't be drones. Well,
Yeah, I mean, maybe we'll get more information, but clearly there's going to be a lot of witnesses for that. There should hopefully be more footage, which may give us a clearer. Excuse me. Which will hopefully give us a clearer look about exactly what happened. Give
yeah.
us a clear idea of exactly what happened.
And I mean, that's another thing that comes to mind, obviously, and we kind of talked about it. The footage and stuff like that. How easily it is to fake
Mm.
footage now with the
Yes,
technology that we have.
unfortunately, yes.
I mean, some of these cases could they, most likely are exactly what that is, right?
It's unfortunately, if you see an image which is like that and no one else saw it, it's quite likely this could be that's actually not an actual object that you're seeing. It's some kind of artifact, either Richard Cobbler's art test flying, either it's
Uh,
some kind of, unfortunately, some kind of photoshopped image, which you'd think I'd hope that news outlets wouldn't just publish things unsolicited like that. But they may well do. They may just think it's good rating, so let's just put it up there and see what happens.
it's not like they have to draw people to Vegas now.
Well, I mean, yeah, but Las Vegas is like
Yeah.
Blackpool, isn't it?
Yeah.
It has its own. It has its own attractions, and
that's that's
so who knows?
that's the one thing I'm regretting. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough time to get to Area 51.
Mm.
Well in Vegas, but next time.
Yeah, I mean that's someplace I want to visit at some point, and I shouldn't put these things off, but yeah, I should prioritize it more. I think
It's what? Oh, it's what, 12 there now?
It's actually just gone midnight. Yeah, it's getting
It's
late
midnight
now.
now. It's
Yeah,
getting late for you. You're
it
not
is.
used to
Yeah.
being up this late.
Well, not no. I've got to work tomorrow. I'm also
Yeah.
getting up for May morning, so I should go to bed. Really, I think, Steve.
Yeah.
But,
No, it's fine. That's fine.
yeah.
I figured for a little while, Ben. Again, it's always a pleasure having you.
Yeah, it is to you. I've enjoyed it, and it's been a really good talking to you again. We've covered some interesting cases, and
And you know what? You're always welcome.
thanks, mate.
You're
Anytime,
always welcome.
anytime.
And you take care. And I'm sure we'll have you back soon.
Oh, I'd love to, yeah. And thanks to everyone who's watched. And I recognise some names. I know David and Alien Girl. I know, and Matthew and but Fletch. But everyone else. Thank you very much for everyone who's like taken part in the
And
live chat as well.
I did put the links there, but for anyone who's watching that may not know where to find Ben.
Oh, Hospital Porters Against the New World Order. I mean, just put my name will take you to where you need to go. But HPANWO, that's Hospital Porters Against the New World Order, it's like my portal. I mean, they've got so many websites now that take your pick. But that, if you just put that into Google, you'll find me.
All right.
I've got
Ben,
some books. I've got a book as well.
Yes, and the books. Don't forget the books.
Now, Roswell Rising, a novel of
Great book.
disclosure.
Loved it.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah,
Loved
thanks.
it.
And of course, it is that. Well, there's only the one on there, but there's actually two sequels to this book. It's a trilogy. But it's basically, if you like this program and the things we talk about on here, this is a fictional scenario about what would happen. What would happen if we got the truth instead of the lies? What would the world be like if that was the case? And that's what inspired me to write this book. And it's two sequels. So, £10 from all good bookshops now.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much anywhere. Like I was able to get mine from Amazon, but yeah, anywhere. So highly recommend it. And
Thanks.
I still have to sit down and read the sequel, Ben.
Oh, hope you enjoy them.
But I really enjoyed the first one, so I will soon. But you take care, mate.
You too, Stephen. Thanks.
Until the next time.
For having me. Thanks for everyone who's listened.
All
bye.
Take care. Bye. Yeah, I'm just going to take a short break. If anybody wants to come in, I will open up the lines, and you want to continue talking about UFOs and more, by all means, I welcome it. So hold tight. We'll be right back. Just going to take a station identification, and we'll open things up here for you guys. Just hold on a sec here. And we'll be right back. Don't worry. You're watching Nocturnal Frequency Radio here on the YouTube channel and, of course, Twitch. it would help if I turned the mic on, right, Quinn? Yeah. I want to say thanks to Ben for coming on. I know it's late there for him, and I figured he'd only do the. Yeah, I know, Richard. I knew he'd only do the first hour, so that was cool. But let's hear it for Ben. Always great to have him on, and I'm sure we'll have him on again. Always a wealth of knowledge, and I'm sure we'll probably do another tribute to our good friend Garrett down the road, and I'm sure Ben will be a part of that as well. So yeah, I know it's good to have Ben on. Like I said, it's amazing the knowledge the guy has on so many different subjects, and it's like he's an open encyclopedia, and then some. Wait. Yeah, we were talking about that a bit before went for break, and Ben had to leave. People faking UFO, photos and videos and all sorts of shit. And now with the technology that we have now, it's just incredible. I mean, people will tell you, "Oh, check this video," and I captured, and they'll throw it up on YouTube or wherever, TikTok, blah blah blah, and say that it's real, and it's from a movie. But not everyone's seen that movie. All it takes is one person to out it. So anyways, let me just but I meant to talk to Ben too about and maybe somebody in chat may know more about. Let me just pull it up. This UFO footage that was taken in the 90s. Let me just see. In fact, the guy was on Joe Rogan, James Fox, and he was talking about this footage that two men in the early 90s recorded. I guess something to do with it flying above them, their vehicle, when they were driving along the road or something like that. And the footage has been, I mean, things that legends are made of, obviously it never sort of came out, and nobody's ever seen it apparently. Well, I don't know if Matt will. I think he might have passed out. Matt's still alive. Matt's still with us. I mean, I will shoot him a message in a sec, but the footage is now going to be a part, I think, going to be a part of a documentary filmed by James Fox, and something to do with some YouTuber named Logan Paul. And I don't know. I'm always game for footage that has never been seen before. Is it real? I mean, let us be the judge of it. Even so, I mean, do we really know if it's real or not? I mean, do we? Again, the whole fakery bit comes into play. I mean, how do we know this thing, wasn't made to look like it was from the 90s? I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just saying that's a possibility. But the thing is, this footage has been out there for yeah, cheese and flashlight. It's been in the consciousness for a while now that, hey, look at this Chuck Clark guy, UFO specialist. Chuck Clark has seen the footage and he's amazed. So that's just like some guy coming forward, and I could tell you a few people in the past that have come forward and said, "Look it, I've got a Bigfoot in my fucking deep fridge, whatever freezer, deep freezer here, a body in my deep freezer," and yeah, faked. There's so much fakery going on. It's sad, but so yeah, click the link if anybody wants to join in. Let me just see if Mr. Vault himself would like to join us. I don't know if he's still alive or not. He might be sleeping. I don't know. Logan Paul, never heard of him, but heard of Rogan Josh. You want to go on and explore, Richard? What kind of explore? Like a urban X? Cheers, Smith. That's good. Very good. Oh, with Matt. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Going on and explore with Mr. Secret Vault himself. Okay, let me just double check here. Okay, where are we? Let me see if we can give him a call. See if he picks up. Okay, so Mr. Secret Vault will be joining us in a few minutes. I sorry about that. I don't know. Could you guys hear me? I don't know. I had the mic on, so I don't know. You heard me talking for a bit. He could read the lips too. Anyways, he's coming on, and we'll talk more about this, obviously, and more. And again, if anybody else wants to hit the link, by all means, come on in. Hey B, how are you? Good to see you. Let me just see. I just make sure I'm seeing everybody in chat. And if you're lurking in chat, say hello. Say hello. Let everybody know you're listening or watching in chat if you haven't piped in chat. So, but if you're just joining us, obviously we had Ben Emlyn-Jones on in the beginning, the first. Okay, good, Mick. I'm glad you do because I'm horrible at yeah. Uh, yeah, Ben was on in the first hour, and we were totally talking about UFO flap and some of his favorite sort of events, and talking about how our perception of UFOs and alien life has changed over the years with our technology, and how our technology has changed, obviously, the perception of many things in our daily lives, and including our thoughts and images of what intelligent life forms may look like, may be, including UFOs. But I think that one of my standpoints is I kind of think that we I just believed on a different level, like a whole different frequency, if you will. I don't think they're carbon based, even though you look at a lot of the universe is carbon based. I mean, it's not the end all be all. So I think perhaps that maybe they're on a different frequency, a different sort of, I don't want to say, most people say silicon, but no, just a frequency, if you will. And here we go. Mr. Vault himself.
Jesus.
Matthew Williams, how are you?
Woke me up, the bastard.
I don't know. You look pretty alive there, buddy.
It's because I've walked up and down the stairs and I've got air in my lungs.
You got air in your lungs.
Yeah. You shocked me, sir, so I'm going to have to have a beer. Shocked me. Yes.
Shocked you. So how you doing?
I'm fine. Yeah. I was listening to the show and then I started to nod a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing to do with the quality of the guests. Ben is a legend.
Yeah, Ben's a good guy. I love him.
Yeah. Plus, but I was just, I find it hard sometimes to sort of like listening to anyone else but my own voice. So yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, it's but you were coming up with some really cool points too in the chat. Some really, really valid
Thank you very
points.
much.
So I mean, it's and people are picking up. And what do you think? What do you think about that, Matt? The fact, like, see, I seem to think that perhaps maybe they're on a totally different frequency.
Maybe they're time travelers. It could be all sorts of possibilities. Maybe they live here on the earth and they're just like hiding from us. Which because people say like, oh, they can't go the vast distances. I think that is just such a sad argument to put forward. It's like, well, science says you can't get that far, so they can't come, so they haven't been here. And it's like, yeah, but the science 100 years ago was like worried that people were going to die if they went on a train, because they thought anything over 25 miles an hour, the air would get sucked out of your lungs.
It's like anything man-made. It's fallible.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's not the end all be all. Science, based on theories, reviewing theories.
It's all changing. If they discover something tomorrow that then bends the rules of relativity, then it'll be like game over. So it's like, yeah.
I mean, quantum physics, right? I mean, you look at quantum physics, how it's like bending the rules that Einstein put in place. Oh my God, he was completely wrong. Not completely wrong, but
there's this woman that what's her name now? She's a German, and she's always like doing these like science things where she drops in these like sort of German jokes, like when she's doing it. But she's like the German equivalent of Neil deGrasse Tyson, except she's got small tits and she's white. And anyway, the point was, she was saying, is time travel possible? And she said that in her previous things that she said it was not possible, but she wanted to explain herself, and she went through all the various theories and everything like that. And one of the things she came across was something I was talking about in my lectures about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And I said, they've now found that with quantum physics, that if you have two particles that are entangled and you take one of them across the other side of the universe, because they've been entangled, they are joined across space instantaneously.
Yeah.
And if you tweak one of them 50 million light years across the universe, the other one goes ping at the same time. So there is a joint across space that is beyond space-time. It's instantaneous. So it could be used for communications, faster than light communications, which of course is impossible because electromagnetics work at the speed of light. So this goes beyond the speed of light.
Beyond it, yeah.
So
and just
physics just hasn't got there yet.
And think of the distance too. I mean, across the universe. I mean, we're not talking about hop, skip, and a jump here. We're talking about major different distances.
I mean, maybe they'll find out one day. This is again, it's all theory. It's all theorized, but maybe they'll find out one day that it does fade off like a radio signal, and that you eventually can't transmit. But the theory says that one quantum entangled particle instantaneously. There is none of this time effect of delay by distance. So yeah. And I mean, I was talking about this years and years ago, and I'm thinking like, oh, they're starting to say that on science programs now. Good. Okay.
Kevin. Yes, you're right, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into that because I mean, you've been talking about this stuff for years.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? What are we talking about here?
Wrong background. Wrong background. Sorry, I was going to turn it on to put a different, more like a nocturnal frequency radio themed background, but that was the last one I had up there. Sorry.
28 days later. 28 days later.
Dicks. Yeah. No, I was going to put this one up. Like spooky.
Yeah. Spooky. Yeah. So how long are we talking about?
Oh, I've been talking about UFOs. I came to Wiltshire back in 1992. So I mean, we're talking like must have been like late 80s into the 90s. I started sort of researching and talking about these things. So yeah. So
what is it something that's always interested you, like the whole UFO realm sort of thing?
Yeah, well, I mean, I had books about it when I was a kid, and sort of joined this like paranormal type book club thing that used to send me books, and if I forgot to order one, they'd send me something. So I got all this weird stuff. I got, they actually sent out like Aleister Crowley books,
Aleister
Crowley, and things like that. Yeah. And what a indecipherable load of old weirdness that was. Yeah.
Speaking of, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna fill in the blank. I wasn't gonna say anything.
Fill in the blank then.
I'll fill your blank in, sir. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah,
don't ever come over to the UK. You know what's gonna happen.
Well, I'm going to echo what Gareth's brother Richard said. I want to go on and explore, so I better get my ass over there soon.
Yeah, come.
I hopefully next
year. Show you a good time.
Hopefully next year. As long as you don't take me to where that 28 dicks later. Just kidding.
Yeah, yeah. We'll have 28 well hung explorers wanting to show you a deep dark hole.
Sorry guys, I'm sick. So
anyway, after lowering the tone as I normally do, yeah. Something I've been famous for my whole life, I think, is just continually like lowering the tone.
So what have you been up to? Some of the places you've been to lately.
I haven't done that much this week.
No.
It was a bit more prolific last week, but I've kind of just taken it easy this week and focused on just getting some things done that I needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been working on videos, putting some videos out, just chilling basically. I've had a kind of a quiet week, but that's going to end tomorrow because I'm going on an explore tomorrow. So I can't say where. I can't say where, but yeah.
No. Nor would it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we wouldn't want to divulge that. I mean, and we've already talked about that. The dangers of divulging locations.
Yeah. I met somebody the other day, and I was up the hill testing out a camera I've got, and so I sort of pull out a camera tripod. Like 20 seconds later, guy pulls up. I mean, I'm on the top of a frigging hill in the middle of nowhere. Like, you know, guy pulls up on his moped, and he's standing there, and I was like, you know, and then eventually he says, "You're Matt Williams, aren't you?" And I went, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh yeah, watch your channel." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So then he proceeds to talk to me for the next 10 minutes, blah 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 blah. And one of the things he said is like, you know, "Oh, I'd really like to come out and you know, one of these things, like, you know, and but I can't find people to sort of go." And I said, "Well, you know, I don't take people out, sorry, unless I know them." You know, yeah.
Do you get that a lot?
Mm.
You get that a lot. You get a lot of people go, come on, Matt, take me out with you. I don't know you.
I'm thinking, like, how many times do I have to say it? I am not a tour guide.
Yeah.
And they say they watch my videos, but they don't seem to pick up on the part where I say, "By the way, don't ask me to take you out." So I'm thinking this guy's like, you know, yeah.
Then all of a sudden somebody pops up. That was me, Matt. What are you doing?
Yeah, yeah. He had blue hair.
Blue hair.
Mm.
Wow. Was he alien?
And lots of earrings, like those the big ones that they have to drill a hole in your ear and
They
and all that sort of stuff.
They bore into your ear and
Yeah.
and divide the canyon.
I think he said his name was Tom.
Oh.
And yeah, I don't know how the scooter could actually hold up to the weight. Sorry, Tom.
so did you? Okay, so I played some footage of UFO, supposed UFOs, whatever, from Vegas. Did you see that?
I did briefly, yes. Yeah, I was in and out of consciousness. I saw the 4 lights that were there. Yeah.
And we're kind of thinking, okay, maybe they might be drones.
Yeah. Why would some drones have got lights on them, but you know, drones that got lights on tend to be doing things like aerial displays, not just standing around in one spot, you know. But yeah.
And I mean, not to forget that obviously a lot of places have no flying restrictions. Obviously, a place like Vegas, probably all over Vegas, you probably can't fly drones legally, right?
Not so sure. I'm not
No?
so sure. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's got an international airport, which might restrict you from certain areas. But I mean, I think you can probably hire a helicopter and go do things. And if you've got the right permissions, you could fly drones. But the thing that I noticed by that footage was there wasn't a lot going on. You know, these things were just sort of static, hanging there. Who knows what they were?
Well, I mean, you know, the standpoint I was telling Ben, I mean, when you look at it, they're looking down. They're definitely on the outskirts of this of Vegas, because you could see the strip, and it was on the other side, and these things were kind of in between the strip and where they were located. So, I mean, yeah, it's quite possible that they might have been able to, you know, fly them. I mean, on the outskirts, probably. There's not really a lot going on the outskirts, except for new you know, like new housing or whatever else. But that's it. You know? But then you get
could have been further behind Las Vegas as well. It could have been like on a distant hill, and you know, it's hard to say, really. Yeah.
It could have been, it could have been, you know, like, I mean, Vegas is surrounded by fucking mountains. So, I mean, it could have been somewhere, I don't know. High. It looked like it was higher ground. So that's what I'm assuming. It was on the outskirts.
Yeah. I haven't looked into it much, but the thing with static lights like that aren't doing very much, they can often be, you know, you can find an explanation for them. I've had a classic, you know, sort of people take footage of these lights that come on, you know, and then they go off, and that's flares being fired on the Salisbury Plain from behind my house. I actually hear them. I'm so close to them. I hear them go the pop, and then they go up and they come down on parachutes. But you still got some people who have released footage that pretty much looks like that kind of Las Vegas type of thing. You know, your light comes on, you know, and sort of doesn't seem to do very much, maybe flickering a bit or whatever, and then goes out. Then another one comes on, replaces it, and it's flares, you know. But like you that stuff can make its way all the way onto television, and then they interview the person, and they're like, "Oh yeah, there's no way that it could have been anything normal," and it's like, well, they're fired about 300, 400 foot above the Salisbury Plain, and anyone who lives here would recognize that immediately for what it is, because they see it all the time. So obviously, this is somebody from out of town, you know, they just don't know what they're looking at and gets a little bit excited, you know, and there might be a rational explanation for it. I wonder whether the Las Vegas thing is kind of in that category, because it's not doing very much, you know, it's just lights in the sky, you know. But
hold on a sec here. Mr. Crazy John. Oh.
There's lights in the kitchen. Look, they're not doing very much either.
How you doing, Crazy John?
Ma.
I think he's simulcasting. Are you simulcasting us, John?
Certainly am.
And here we go. And we got our good friend Dinkum.
Hey, what's happening here?
God, he's loud.
Is that better?
Still loud. You're going to drown Crazy John out.
Better. That's it.
Down.
Is that better? Oh, now you can hardly hear me.
Little bit quieter. You'll be all right then. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
There we go. We're good now. So how are you guys doing?
Doing well.
You're really quiet though, Crazy John. You are very quiet.
Am I?
Yeah.
I can't imagine why. Like, I'll get it.
Yeah, you are a little bit.
Yeah, your audio is very low.
A little bit distant.
Yeah.
Don't know, because the microphone's up on 100.
Oh, right. Works when you get closer to it, but when you're sitting back there, it's...
That's it. See, you've got to be like that.
Suck on it.
Yeah. Some of those mics, you've got to have them round the right way as well. Like if you have it up facing the back of the mic, you know, some of them are front directional and some of them are front back directional. And you've got it the right way around.
That's the way.
That is the way.
That's the way. The way.
That is the way. Facing my face.
Yeah. It sounds okay when you shout.
The way.
I can't get it. I'll sort it out.
So he was saying, how are you? Then should we start it again?
Here we go. Is that getting any better?
Yeah.
Right.
You're a little.
Yeah.
That's better.
Nitro says hello, guys. Hello, guys.
Hello, Nitro.
Hello, Nitro.
Hello, Nitro.
Hello, Nitro.
Have you got a friend called Glycerine? By the way?
Yeah. No, it's not glycerine. It's Vaseline.
Oh,
Vaseline.
No, that's definitely a UFO experience in itself, right?
If you're talking about probing.
Probe your bees. Yeah.
Probing.
You want to see what's going on? Yeah.
Huh?
Probing. Anal probing.
Oh, we had a guy on here. Yeah, UFO fucking Ricky. UFO Ricky.
Yeah.
And his spiel was about being. He literally was saying he was anally probed, and I'm like, okay, this is like classic here, classic. And he was fucking serious. I mean, if you chuckled about it, he got offended. It's like, no, this is real, man. This really fucking happened to me.
Probes life
he
matters.
really got anally probed.
He said he really did.
It's happened to me loads.
He was abducted by
I wasn't
aliens.
complaining. Yeah.
And up there, he described.
Depends what you're being anally probed with, though. Doesn't it?
Yeah, he described everything. He described the whole situation, everything. It was fucking screwed right up.
I think some people definitely, they believe so much. I mean, they convince themselves, I think, with some of these, especially with the abducted stories, and yeah.
Well, I had a friend. She was a journalist, and she spent the last few years of her life, sitting down with some people that would not come forward, that claim that they were abducted, and she would briefly tell us stuff on the show about it, but behind the scenes, I would talk to her. She was saying that the massive mental hurricane, if you will, that these people were going through was just incredible. Like, these people were so messed up that it didn't make sense. Like, what would, like, seriously put them through that stressful sort of scenario, and them to think that they were abducted by whatever.
And then that happening to them,
I mean, we've all heard of these obviously these secret cases, governmental sort of experiments, if you will. They bring them in, they put them through this scenario where they think they're being abducted by aliens, right? And
I think he was just temporarily abducted there. Then.
Yeah.
I was in London for a minute.
Landed on him.
There's a really interesting case here in Australia, actually not far from the city where I live, and it's called the Nulls family.
The Nulls family.
Nulls,
yeah, the Nulls family, and so basically it was a whole family of four in a car driving down a highway that basically heads out into the desert. And there were other witnesses, truck drivers, because it is a road where, big rigs run transport down.
Mm-hmm.
And this car was harassed, basically, by a light. They actually videotaped it through the back window, and you can hear the screams and the fear. And they were interviewed a number of times on Australian television, and I personally know the reporter who interviewed them.
Yeah,
and I've spoken with him about it, and said, would he let me interview him? And he thought about it, because he's actually in government now. Okay. And he said when he steps down out of Parliament, he said to me he would be willing to just have a chat about it. But that whole family were traumatized when they were on TV being interviewed on national TV. The media over here kind of made them look like a bunch of idiots. And this is back in the 80s. Yeah. So they all got mullets and and they tried to portray that they were a bunch of stoners, and that they
hippies.
But Mum was driving, and she wasn't, and they had their car literally lifted off the road.
Wow.
And dropped back down, and they had experts come and the car spun out and tire blew out, and they ended up having to change the wheel. And they got ahead when they finally got back on the road and got to a service station or gas station. They the truckie who saw what happened was actually pulled in there, so they sort of all talked about it, and it's a really interesting case, the more you look into it, and there's quite a few interviews with this family, and
they're called the Knowles family.
Knowles, KNOWLES.
Yeah, I've read something about that as well. Didn't they have missing time as well? Didn't they?
They did. Yeah. There was missing time, which they didn't realize. They didn't know themselves, because the truck driver had been at this gas station for quite a while.
Yeah.
And I mean, they changed their tire pretty quick. But they said there was one thing they said that really kind of creeped me out, and was that when the car was being lifted off the road. The engine just screamed because the wheels were just free spinning in the air.
Wow.
And they had the windows
still on
open.
The accelerator, like, yeah.
Yeah, and they had the windows open a little bit, and they said the whole car filled up with this white mist.
Oh, wow.
And when they were talking, it sounded really low. And it changed the pitch of their voices and everything. And that's something that's really kind of scientific and not probably well known back in, the 80s, that, you breathe in certain gases, it changes your voice. Obviously helium, but for them to say that,
you be like that when you have a vape.
Yeah,
it's the same
exactly.
Thing.
And every time you say that, every time you say that, Matt, it always makes me think of the Knowles case.
I'll tell you another one that's pretty good as well is when you do laughing gas as well. That's pretty good. Like
Nos drops your voice down a few octaves.
Drops your voice down a hell of a lot of octaves.
We could play some classic footage of people fucking after taking helium.
You should hear me speaking after a big lungful of nos, mate.
Oh yeah, I've actually done it as well. Like, and it sounds funny as fuck. Like,
Yeah. But they had experts come out to this car. They said it had unusual magnetic properties. The vehicle had been magnetized. It had electrical issues of the gauges and that all being not working properly. And there was all kinds of theories saying that the military were out there doing operations and it was probably a helicopter and they were just screwing with them. And I mean, when you see the actual video footage out the back window, it just looks like a helicopter searchlight pretty much. This beam of light hitting the car and it's swinging around and moving and stuff, but it's not a helicopter. You can tell it's not, and plus there's other witnesses who saw this happen. And this is on a road called it goes across the Nullarbor Desert, and it's like I don't know how many thousand miles to the next city, and there's nothing in between except just flat, desolate land, and people do talk about a lot of strange things happening out there.
B's asking if there's any footage of this.
Yeah, there's so much.
I've actually.
I've got quite a bit archived on my computer. But it's all a lot of it's still on YouTube. You do have to search around, but
I'm not familiar with that case actually.
No,
I've heard about it because I've watched a few few shows about it, and it has actually appeared. To know it kind of sticks in your head, like because it's quite a unique name. So. For a family. So I do remember bits about it, but I do remember especially about the missing time that they experienced, and the car still going as they got up. She was still in mid drive, as it went.
And the also the when they did the interviews on television, the looks on their faces were like, it wasn't like they were excited and thinking, oh yes, I'm on TV. They were sitting there all like stunned mullets.
Yeah.
Like, they're just all wide-eyed.
Should we even be doing this? Yeah.
Well, they look like someone with PS, with post-traumatic stress disorder, and the whole family just looked all just really scared, of what had happened. It just reliving every time they talked about it. You could just get that sort of feeling, and it was like, wow, this is
they
really
weren't happy at all, were they?
So what do you think, Dinkum? I mean, when you hear about all this shit, what are your thoughts about cases like that? Do you believe this shit?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah?
In certain instances, like I think they're very few and far between, and there's a lot of shit out there that's just people wanting attention and or just
a lot
wanting.
of it is. Yeah, a lot of it is attention.
Yeah,
but
it does muddy the waters,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Huge. But I mean, there are those cases that, like this one here, that are like, wow. Oh, this is intriguing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And like the fact that I know because when I was watching the videos of it, I'm like, oh shit, that's this reporter I know, and he's been a reporter for, I don't know, probably like 30 years, and then moved into politics. But yeah, he as soon as I spoke to him about it, he said to me, he goes, "Oh yeah, mate." He goes, "No worries. I will talk to you about it, but I don't want anything broadcast, while he's still in his position in the government." So, which is fair enough. But I mean, I've had my own personal experiences. I've showed you one of the videos.
I've seen one of the videos that you shared there. It's pretty intriguing.
Yeah, and but there've been others that I've seen with a group of people at work that was during the daytime, and it was actually, we heard it on the radio. They said, "Oh yeah, there's people are calling in the radio station saying there's a whole line of I think it's roughly about 6 of these bright UFOs flying across the city." And I just looked around. I just dropped down tools, everything, and like, let's go and have a look. And we ran out the front door of work, and we all stood in the car park and looking around for it, and then realized, holy shit, there it is. And it was basically a horizontal line of lights that looked like arc welding, just bright bluish white flickering light, and they were moving just slowly in a direction away from us. So they weren't flares, because flares fall downwards, they don't move along. And it was really weird because one would go out and another one would light up on the opposite end, and it just seemed to do this constantly. One would just flicker on the right hand side and flicker out and disappear, and then another one would flicker and come on the left, and it just did that continuously for probably, I don't know, 10 minutes, and it just continued further down the coastline away from us, this like line of lights. And it was just bizarre.
Interesting you say that, though, because that's typical of flares.
I know.
That is typical of flares. Yeah. And I mean, they could be being moved with the wind, and then you're getting another one, and they're all moving along, and then you get another one.
There would be an aircraft dropping it. But there would be an aircraft dropping those flares, but there was no aircraft.
Do you think, what, was it over the sea, or?
It was along the coast, but it was over land.
Well, it could be army maneuvers, and it didn't have to be being dropped by an aircraft. They have these little launchers. You just pull a thing, and it fires up in the air, and it's on a parachute. So they're actually all
residential. This is all residential area. So yeah, there's no military anywhere there at all. It basically went past right over the busiest beach, and along the between the city and the beach, basically all the way along the coast, heading southeast. And it's not definitely
impossible. It's not impossible that it was somebody got hold of a load of flares, like it wasn't the military, but it was somebody who was just firing them up for fun, and didn't realize what people would think about it, or
even an emergency flare would be obvious. I mean, that
they give off smoke.
And they give off smoke.
Tons of smoke.
And I mean, this is during the daylight. This is probably 2 p.m. on a crystal clear blue sky day, and they just kept moving in this same slow speed and direction for miles, in a horizontal direction. So that was a weird one. But then I've seen other ones during the daytime, like just individuals that just come on. I'll see the flicker up in the sky, and I'm like looking at it, I'm thinking, fucking, what the hell is that? Because it almost looks like a helicopter, just could be like reflecting sunlight off the windshield or something like that. And but then when I look, and there's no air, you don't see any vehicle, you just see this flickering, and it'll be there, and it'll blink out, and then it'll come back on again. And I've seen that maybe 3 times in my life during the day. And I did actually ring one through and reported it, and the guy actually told me, he said, you're actually the 3rd person to call me about this, so it wasn't just me that was seeing them, there were a few others, and they said that on the night previous through the Adelaide Hills, there were reports as well of the same sort of bright flickering object that's doesn't seem to move. It just sits there in one stationary position for a few minutes and then just blinks out and disappears. It's weird.
Yeah. It's funny when, like I said, when I had my experience, I wasn't the only person that saw what I saw too. Like I said, a friend of mine had seen it on his way to work. So yeah, it's weird how it works out that way.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Yeah, and it definitely wasn't Starlink because these things weren't in orbit and it was during the day, so yeah, you won't see Starlink in the daytime, and these things were bright as staring at an arc welder, in the sky. Yeah, very strange.
Do you do Dinkum, do you do a lot of night driving?
I used to, I used to do quite a lot.
Quite a lot of night driving. Did you experience any weird shit
No.
when you nothing, huh?
No,
that's weird.
Not during the maybe once, but I don't know what that was. It could have been a plane. But yeah. Oh, there was one strange one. Sorry, yeah. I was driving. It was about 3 a.m, heading out to a place called Broken Hill, where they filmed some of the Mad Max movie.
Mad Max, yeah.
And they literally everything in front of me just lit up like daylight, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I looked up and I just seen this biggest meteor just shoot across the sky with this massive blue flame behind it. And it lit up the night like day for probably 3 or 4 seconds. It was pretty impressive. That was pretty weird. But yeah, not really. No, only ones I've ever seen at night have been the one that there were 3 of them that I filmed, and I've shown you a couple of them. And there's an orange pulsating orbs, and
see, that's similar to what I witnessed. Like it's like pulsating but maneuvering, just
crazy,
crazy maneuvering.
Zigzag,
like it would zip,
blinking out, coming back on, and
then and all of a sudden just they'd be just like this, and hovering and then lowering, and then they gain some. It's just really, really weird, man. Just Matt, what could that possibly be?
Yeah,
those are more interesting, aren't they? When they maneuver, there's some sort of odd maneuvering going on. So you could rule out an aircraft because it would kill the pilot with the G forces. Like zipping about, incredible speeds. I once saw a light. We were sitting in my car doing a sky watch on top of an impossible hill to get to. We'd actually driven my car up this hill, and we were sitting there overlooking where the crop circles appear in Eastfield. So we were sort of just facing north, and in my rear mirror, it's a bit like a Close Encounters type of thing, where the UFO comes up behind and then goes up and over the craft, over the car. It was a bit like that because it was in my rear mirror, and I saw this light getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then eventually I sort of looked over my shoulder and I was like, what the hell is this? Me and my mate got out of the car, and this thing got to like a massive size in the sky. And we were just like agog. And I was like, what the hell is that? It was huge and so bright. It wasn't like a torch or anything. This thing was bright. And so I reached inside the car, got a pair of binoculars, and I tried to look at it. And I remember seeing like a line going through it, but you couldn't see that when you were looking at normally. But putting the binoculars up there was like a line I could see, and it was like kind of weird because I couldn't see it otherwise. But then it started to diminish, like a diminish in size, and all of a sudden it was just like gone. And it was like the weirdest thing was we were in the dark, our eyes adjusted to the dark, and like if you shine any light or anything into your eyes, it will affect your vision for a period of time. So this thing just went bip, and it was gone, and there was no light effect on the eyes afterwards. It was just gone, went out like switched off. And that's what I think was weird. And then for the rest of the evening, in the position above this was above in the sky, so I would say lower across the horizon, there were helicopters and things were like moving in to the position where this thing was. Now I actually had a video camera with me in the car, but because we were so blown away by it, I didn't get the video camera out in time. So we didn't even think to do it. In fact, we rang somebody and we said, "Oh, you never guess what we've just seen?" And he said, "Did you film it?" I went, "Oh, shit." So we thought to ring somebody rather, before we'd even thought of like the camera that was in the car. So I did pull the camera out then in case anything else happened. And what I did film is like there were helicopters moved into this position where this light had come on up above. And then later on, whilst I was filming helicopters moving into this position, a light came on, sort of like very much like this sort of thing. And then a light came out of it and dropped down to the ground, came back up and hovered. And I actually have got that bit of footage. And it happens very quickly, but you're looking at it from such a distance away. It must have been about like 15 miles away.
What color light was it?
I can't remember by eye. On the video, it's just white, but my color vision is not all that good anyway. So I can't remember, to be honest.
Because I've heard of them dropping red sort of lights, like red dots or something like, and then they, it's like a probe sort of thing, like.
Yeah, and it exactly matched a footage that had been taken over Gulf Breeze, where people had been watching stuff over the sea, lights over the sea, and they had things that would drop down to the water. And what happened with this light? It sort of dropped down, came sideways, went back up, and stopped. And the funny thing about that was, in the distance, that would have been a massive distance to move in such short space of time to come back up and stop.
Yeah.
So, peculiar. Don't know.
Edgar Fouché. And quasi crystals.
Yeah, quasi crystals. Yeah.
Smith is asking if you guys. I'm not familiar with Edgar Fouché.
I've read. I've heard
you guys.
Distinctive name, innit? So you're going to remember when you've read anything about him. Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not
quasi crystals. No, I'm not too familiar with that.
I'm not too familiar with that, but that sounds interesting. Quasi crystals, interesting. Yeah.
Geez, they're filming. They're just. I can actually talk about it now because they've announced it on the news over here. But they're filming. Yeah, have you ever seen the movie Pitch Black?
Oh fuck yeah.
Right, so that was filmed in Coober Pedy here in South Australia, which is an opal mining town that's just basically just craters, and people live underground in what they call dugouts.
Okay.
And because it's just too hot above ground, it is freaking desolate. It's like the moon or Mars or something. It's sort of more like the moon because the limestone there is white, But they're filming out there a new reality TV show called what is it called? Oh no, I'm having a mental break. Oh fuck, I hate it when that happens.
I'm a Celebrity, is it?
It's something similar, but it's not. No, it's basically it's called Mars. Something. It's basically set as Mars. God, I can't think of it. It is a reality TV show, and they've got stars flying in, celebrities flying in for it, and they've built a dome city out there.
So survival in a dome.
Yeah, it's just like the movie with Pauly Shore. What's it called?
I can't remember the name of that movie. Yeah, but I know what movie you're talking about. But yeah,
they're going to be living in a
dome,
bubble
right?
Out in the middle of the desert.
And they got to see how long they can last or whatever without going. Oh, wait a sec! They're taking my cell phone away.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the connotation is. I just know some people that have been working on the set, so they've been sent out there to.
Leslie says under the dome.
Under the dome is one of them, yeah. But there's also another one as well, living in the pitch black.
Living in the pitch black.
Which is just done in the UK.
Okay.
Which is really shit, like bombed.
Oh, really?
With infrared cameras, so we can see them, but they can't see.
Yeah.
It's the dancing doonas.
The dancing.
It's an old
Well-
concept that's been used like in like little game shows in the past, isn't it? We put you in a room and it's dark and you've got to work your way around. I mean, making a whole series out of that. Fuck, that's a
Oh man,
boring
I mean,
idea.
it was Channel 4 just done it recently, like, and they had Paul Gascoigne on there with Chris Eubank and a couple of other Z-listers, like, you know, and it was on for about, I'd say probably about 5 nights. It's just,
that's what it's called. Sorry, John. The show's called Stars on Mars.
Stars on Mars. I gotta look at this. Stars on Mars.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah, I'm sure some celebrity stalker from Wales might fly down to sneak on the set.
Yeah.
I wonder who that could be.
Who could that possibly be? Wait a sec. Even I caught that one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually an interesting place walking around Cooper Pedy because it's so bloody dangerous. There's so many shafts there that at night it's just a death trap. You know, especially if you're filming or anything like that, you're not concentrating on where you're walking. You take a step back, you fall down a hole, and people have just disappeared, never to be found.
Oh, so what?
Right,
What
serious big holes as well.
Hey, you want to get out there, mate? Fucking William Shatner's in Stars on Mars.
Yeah, that's right. William Shatner's on it. I know that.
William
he's hosting it.
Holy fuck.
How old is he now? Like, he must be in his fucking 70s.
He's in his 90s.
Is he? I thought he was the youngest one on the Star Trek series.
He's in his 90s now, man. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Okay, now.
So
But I think he's remotely narrating the show. So
yeah, probably.
I don't think he's going to be there.
Probably call me
in
small
Cooper Pedy.
spurts, like, you know, like, you can only do it for about 10 minutes. Like.
He's going on about how much time he has left now to live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's outlived all the rest of the cast, didn't he?
Well,
He must have outlived them all. Like, he must have.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, I think Shatner's like sort of had a moment when he went up in Bezos' giant dick, you know, up to space.
Oh yeah,
He did.
It was chubby time for Shatner.
Yeah,
But-
I think he was very emotional about it, you know.
He was. The video it shows him.
Bezos couldn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Bezos was just like, you know, my dick got
Yeah,
off
who
the
the fuck
ground
did?
first. Yeah, popping champagne.
So what was that used for before Dinkum in the past? That area was it used for
It's
anything?
just purely opal mining.
else? Okay, opal mine.
Yeah.
Wow,
In fact,
mining. Wow.
there's an opal miner I know out that way. He dug up a spinal column, but it's only about maybe 1.5 feet long. Piece of the spinal column opalized of a Plesiosaurus, which is basically like, you know, one of these swimming type of brontosaurus looking things, but they got fins instead of legs.
Well, everybody thinks they were on the land, don't they? But they were in the sea as well.
And he was like, "What's this worth?" You know, and he took it to the museum, and they said, "Well, it's friggin' priceless. You know, you can't put a price on this piece of opalized dinosaur skeleton, a spine. You know." And because, you know, like, I mean, it's just worth whatever someone's willing to pay for it. He thought, stuff it. So he's basically just got it on loan to the museum, and they have it. Don't know if it's on display, but I know they've got it archived. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much. There's another story I heard of this guy. He, you know, their dugout homes. His wife had been hassling him for, you know, like a decade to dig a bigger pantry off the kitchen for, you know, storing foodstuffs, and he finally got around to doing it, and he found a piece of opal bigger than your fist, worth fucking hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know, well, millions probably. He just struck it rich, and that was it. You know, so if it wasn't for the missus hounding him for a bigger pantry, he never would have found it.
I honestly thought you were going to say then she got him to dig this big hole for the pantry, and then she fucking smacked him across the head, and he ended up in it. Yeah, that's what you were going to say.
Well, I can tell you there are plenty of people out there. I mean, there was one missing person that was obviously murdered that the police spent, I don't know, like more than a year going down shafts, looking, because there's that many holes. If you look at an aerial shot of Cuba Pedy, it looks like a moon landscape. It's just holes, holes with dirt piled up around the sides, so they look like craters, and they're just thousands of them. And they went down looking for this woman who disappeared, but they never found her. And there have been other people who have just fallen down them, disappeared, and no one's ever found them. So it is a mysterious place. And in fact, when I go through there, I always stop there, because that's probably about, from my home, the first place you need to stop to sleep, because the next drive is a long one after that. And there's the motel there. It's the Underground Motel. So basically, all your rooms and everything the whole hotel is just underground.
Underground.
Yeah, it's really nice. You don't need air conditioning. It's cool.
Because it's cool on the ground,
and you don't hear any noise from dickheads next door, because the walls are solid rock.
It's always those dickheads next door, right?
Yeah.
Love that word.
Bang, 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 bang.
Dickheads.
Even put fucking dickheads.
Rims by the hour, bastards.
Yeah, was it Cuba Pedy, the place is called, yeah?
Yeah, Cuba Pedy, yep.
Cuba Pedy.
That's where Pitch Black was filmed, the whole movie. So that planet with 3 suns that, looks like absolute death.
It's a fucking great film, that is, as well, that, isn't it? One of Vin Diesel's
one of the best sci-fi movies.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, if it wasn't for that, I'd never watch a Vin Diesel movie. But, the Pitch Black and Riddick are great.
And Riddick is a fucking good film as well, yeah.
Yeah, Riddick.
And the Chronicles of Riddick as well.
The Chronicles of Riddick.
Yeah.
Matt, it's I'm fascinated by when you always talk about when you were doing the crop circle bit, and how the act of creating these crop circles, that you would have some sort of interaction with something that seems so surreal.
Yeah, we had a lot of strange experiences. We had the strange things of getting the inspiration to go make a design that somebody else was asking for, and then synchronicities, coincidences, going to a place in the field and thinking, let's just put it here, and then you find out that it's exactly the same position as another crop circle had appeared, exactly. So it's almost like as if you're being guided to do them in certain places.
Yeah.
And it just feels instinctive. It's like, I've got an idea for a crop circle, and you draw it out, and that's instinctive. You think it's your instinct. And like when you walk into the field, you think that's the place to stop. That's the place to put it. But maybe it's not, maybe there's more to it, you're actually being driven to do these things. So
anything to do with the location that you're at doing this?
Is that in Warminster, by any chance?
Well, Salisbury, is Warminster, but it's a little bit north of that, where we mostly worked. We worked in Alton Barnes, Honey Street, and quite near Avebury, more than Stonehenge. I've kind of shied away from doing stuff near Stonehenge because I've never really liked Stonehenge. Doesn't really work for me because it's a money thing,
Same here. Has no
control.
Thrill.
Yeah. And I like Avebury because you can go there in the middle of the night. There's you really don't see people. If you're lucky, you might see one person during the night.
Really quiet. Yeah.
And Stonehenge is like, it's just too central.
You got the road not that far away from it as well, have you? The main fucking road,
Yeah.
Yeah, when you did that bike ride, Matt, past Stonehenge, and there's the back road way around all the bullshit buses and traffic, and the amount of hordes of people, it's just insane, isn't it? It's like bloody Cairo, at the Giza.
Yeah. It's a complete cash cow.
That's what it is. And, you know, and I've never been there, but I mean, I could attest for it being at the fucking Grand Canyon. You know, I was there early, thankfully, and where it wasn't bad, but within minutes, there was like literally buses full of people just fucking flooding the place.
Oh yeah, huge tourist trap. The exciting thing about those is other stones that they don't really show much about, like which are further away.
Yeah,
you know, and you go, wow, now that's something like there's a bit of a perspective, like the other stones that are a bit sort of like around it. But the main thing is just bit of a letdown, really.
Well, it's quite small, isn't it? Stonehenge. It's not real.
Yeah, not as big as you think it is.
No, it's
Loki,
pretty small.
He gets feral cats coming.
Cat. Fuck you,
fucking grey cat, like.
Yeah, John gets the neighbour's cats coming through his cat door.
Yeah, I get the grey cat coming in. It'd be all right if it was a lovely cat. I could stroke it, but it nearly wants to rip my hand off every time I go near it. Like, So it's only because I changed the cat food recently, and he's now like, oh, back in the house again.
You need to get a collar with an RFID chip.
Oh, mate, if Ruggy will actually keep the damn collars on, I'd get that. Yeah. He doesn't. Takes them off, loses them.
Because you can get those cat doors that actually only open.
Yeah, I did have that one to the chip in the actual cat. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that'll do.
I need to look. Green Diesel says I need to look into the Battle of the Beanfields.
Yeah, the Battle of Beanfields was a rather sad event where people used to go every year to Stonehenge, and they used to throw a party on solstice. So for a couple of days, there'd be music. There'd be famous acts would turn up there and play. And it was just a free festival. So it was nice. And you didn't have to pay money to go and see Stonehenge back in those days. You could just turn up and go and see the stones. You could touch the stones. And the British government had a fucking conniptic fit, like, we are going to stop these fucking youths. They're not going to fucking, and
that was only. It's only because somebody had scrawled over one of them. That's why everybody got really upset. Yeah, because somebody graffitied on it. I mean, fucking, it was bound. It was bound to happen in the end that some idiot would fucking do that.
So the Wiltshire police, under instruction from the government, like, you must stop these people at all cost. They basically went overboard and directed everyone who was coming towards Stonehenge off the road, and they directed them miles away, and then they barricaded the road and directed them into a field and locked them in a field. So basically there were hundreds of vehicles and thousands of people, and you had buses and all sorts of things stuck in this field. So people thought, like, oh, they obviously don't want us going there. Oh no, that wasn't the end of it. That was not the end of it, because the police then came in, smashed fuck out of people's vehicles, set them on fire, beat the fuck out of people, and it was known as the Battle of the Beanfields.
Jeez.
And there's some footage from the BBC which actually shows people get with blood all over their faces, children getting dragged out there with blood all over them. Because the police turned into fucking animals. And
then they all turned up at Michael Evis's place not long after that.
Yeah.
And then he had the travellers issues for fucking years. All the travellers turning up.
Yeah.
John, do you have a menu?
Do I have a menu? Yeah, roast dinner, and that's it. If you don't like it, fuck off.
You reheating, or is it a sort of ready meal?
It's the speed I did it at. That's reheating from a couple of days ago.
Right.
And I got a steaming thing. You whack in the microwave and it steams the meat back to what it was.
Well, thanks for bringing it up, Green Diesel. Thanks for bringing it up. I had no idea about that, but that's cool.
Yeah, I've never heard that story either.
You learn something new every day. Yeah, definitely.
I want to see some of the footage. Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy, and it's very sad because I mean, all those people were just going there for the vibe, you know. They were just
That's
going
right.
there to have a good time. And what the
summer
police turned
solstice,
it in,
wasn't it?
yeah,
Yeah,
and the
it's the summer
police
solstice.
turned it into this massive sort of thing, like, you know, we'll show you who's in control, all your love, light, and harmony, and all that. You know, like, have some of this. And you know, things have never really recovered after that. You know, the festival was banned, and then eventually, you know, English Heritage came along and said we'll control it at a price, and then sort of like chink 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 for people to eat, not even to be able to touch the stones,
Do you remember?
to walk around them.
Do you remember that not so long back somebody thought they were going to build a road underneath it?
Oh,
I remember hearing something.
The plans are actually in. The plans are in. Yeah.
Fucking hell.
And it was going to cost something like 20 billion.
20 billion, yeah.
Yeah, and like the reason they're doing it is because the road is not wide enough, so it bottlenecks going past Stonehenge.
Yeah,
right.
It does.
And they said, well, we don't want to widen the road because it's a sensitive area because of its significance.
Start shaking the ground.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, it's a really important area. You know, it's like it's just fucking Earth at the end of the day. Stonehenge is what you're worried about.
It's a couple of fucking stones in a fucking field, like, you know.
So people say, well, why did you divert it? You know, divert it further up. Oh, we can't do that. Why? Because there's some rich people's land that won't have it.
Exactly.
Whereas if you peasants there, they fucking build on it immediately, like, you know. But there's some fucking toffee-nosed knobs own the land around there, and they're not having any of it. So they said, all right then, well, we'll spend 20 billion and we'll tunnel under it. And it's like, hang on a minute, what's the problem here, right? You don't want people slowing down looking at Stonehenge. Well, has anybody ever thought of sticking up a little fucking fence to stop people slowing, because they can't fucking look if they can't see it? You know?
Did they put up a fence around it?
No.
Well, at the end of the day, it would be easier just to build a fucking motorway somewhere and bypass it altogether, wouldn't it?
Well, I thought that's what they were supposed to do.
No. There's no motorway between Salisbury and the motorway. The M5 basically starts somewhere on the other side, like, so. You've got to go all the way through all this shit to get to the M5.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, the A303 is supposed to be a fast road to get you all the way across from Andover, all the way to the West Country, you know.
Do you know when it's fast? You know when the best time it's fast? Overnight, when it's empty.
Empty, yeah. That's right. But the trouble is that this 303, it goes from being a dual carriageway down to a single carriageway, then through windy villages, and then it comes out to dual carriageway on the other side. But they won't bypass some of these villages and places. They go through the tight gap, you know, and that's what Stonehenge is. It narrows down to a tight gap going slow past Stonehenge. And it's like, well, just fucking move it over a bit, you know, and you know, just move it a bit. No, they want to spend 20 billion to tunnel underneath Stonehenge. Well, fucking way hey.
I'm just gonna refuel, wash and break. I'll be right back, guys.
Yeah, gentleman's wash.
Gentleman's moment.
Yep, shake hands with the unemployed. Yeah.
Shake hands.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, so wouldn't it be funny? You know, they tunnel. They spend all those billions tunneling underneath the Stonehenge, and the first EV cars that go under there just still shut down. You know, because there's some force being channeled from above. You know.
Well, at the end of the day, they've been saying about this tunnel for the last 10, 15 years, and we're still nowhere near it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a silly idea. I mean, Christ, haven't they got better things to spend money on? You know, it's like they haven't got money for this, they haven't got money for that, they haven't got money for the other thing, and then it's like, oh, but we can spend 20 billion on a fucking stupid tunnel under Stonehenge, and that's why I don't believe anything the government say, because it's like they've never got money for this or this or this. But then when they want to do things, oh yeah, no problem, money, no object. Yeah, money, 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 money. It's like the Olympic Games. It's like, oh, we ain't got money for schools, we ain't got money for this, we ain't got money. Oh, well, oh yeah, Olympic Games, boost, 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 money, money, billions, billions, and it's like, but you haven't got money, apparently. You just don't have the money. Oh, they got money when they want it. They just don't want to spend it. You know what I mean?
Well,
they don't want to give it out.
At risk of ousting myself with any royalists that are around. I know John, he's a bit of a royalist, but
no, I'm no royalist. No.
No. Oh, okay. But what the fuck is there a bloody torch running around for the coronation? Like, it's not the Olympics, and I mean they did that back in the days.
Everybody's looking at it like this, it's like. Oh, it's the coronation. It's the king. But really, at the end of the day, it's just another fucking money fucking thing for London. Like, that's all it is. Oh, let's get all the streets closed off. Let's have millions of people mingling around the fucking capital. Fantastic.
Yeah. But a torch relay is like, I mean, that was done back in the day with the Olympics, to spread the news that, hey, that's before the internet and global media to announce to people all nations around the world that the games are coming. But
that was great.
Really King Chuck the Turd gets a torch relay. I laughed, honestly. I just thought it was
I did as well when I heard that. I thought you're having a fucking laugh here. Just get on with it and do it, and fuck me.
Isn't it amazing how much of a large area of London can be shut off because it's the king? So the king's, so it's for the king, so we can shut it off. But if you do a massive protest in London, right? You do a massive protest, and the fucking police will be there, fucking trying to fuck with you and fucking move you and shift you around. You can't go here, you can't go there. And
this is not organized. You did not pay to do it.
It's not for the king, so fuck you. And it's like, so there you go. See, because it's like when it's for the king, you can just ram London with people, and the police will be like, have a nice day, have a nice day. But when it's a protest, we don't like that. So it's like, oh, we're getting there, smash them, get the horses out, fucking go on, kettle them, because we think we live in a democracy, but we don't really.
No, we don't. We haven't got a
It is a bit of an illusion, isn't it? Yeah.
Very fucking huge illusion.
And that's why Prince Charles's fucking thing will be all over the news, and they'll be saying 15 million people were in London today for this, for the 15 million people. Right. Well, when 2 million people are there doing a protest, they'll say a couple of thousand people came to London today on the BBC, as if it gets any news time at all.
News. Exactly.
Yeah, like that rave at fucking number 10 Downing Street,
Yeah. Like the D&B event, like the D&B event outside the 10 Downing Street. Not a single bit of news on that.
No. So, you think you're fucking living in a democracy? They choose what you can fucking hear, and what they want you to hear is fucking watch all these TV programs which will feed you propaganda about if you don't pay this and if you don't do that, the police are going to come and they're going to come in your house and take your stuff. So go to fucking work and pay your fucking taxes. That's all television is about. It's about fucking just conditioning you to buy and do what you're told.
That's right. They're trying to talk about the sugar tax here now in Australia. And I can tell you right now, Aussies aren't going to wear it. They're just like, fuck off. And they're saying, but it's about obesity. It's not about obesity. Fucking hell, you can get fat eating a lot of other shit other than just sugar.
Oh, we got the problem over it. Save our sugar.
Save our sugar.
It's like, it's just bollocks. It's like TV tax, like having a TV license and all this sort of shit. It's just grabbing, government grabbing it at the purse strings.
Well, over here they just passed C11. Is it C12 or C11? And basically, platforms like YouTube have to make sure that they're pumping out the Canadian content. And I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Yeah. Come on, for fuck's sakes. And basically me broadcasting here now from, even though technically I'm broadcasting via a station in New York City, it's still coming, broadcasted live from here in Canada. If I don't have enough Canadian content, they can regulate it. It's a fucking joke. It's a joke. Oh yeah, it's ridiculous, man. It's getting so bad here.
You've met your Canadian content. You've slagged them off.
So
just keep doing that.
Exactly.
Yeah, just talk shit about Canada. There's the content,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, you got camera conspiracies. There's another YouTube channel. Yeah. Have you seen Camera Conspiracies?
No, I have not.
Oh, he's quite good. He comes on, he goes, Sony, what's wrong with you, Sony? All we wanted was fucking autofocus. That's all we needed, fucking autofocus. You wouldn't give it to us. You slimy cunts, you bastards. Fuck you, Sony. Fuck you. I'm never buying another one of your cameras. Actually, I'm looking for one now. Anyway, I'm not. Go away.
They were so Sony. Remember back in the day when they first came out, the Sony Handycams, and they had the night vision, and they had the X-ray vision.
X-ray, yeah.
And then they got rid of the filter because too many people were complaining about it because people are using it for nefarious, obviously whatever.
Photographing paparazzi. The paparazzi.
Yeah. So, anyways, I would use a lot of the night vision handy cams back in the day, during investigations. During
topless beach parties.
Yeah. They
were after your camera came out. Yeah.
Hey, Cal, how are you?
Yeah.
One of the things, using it, and one thing that it would always do is you reviewing the audio. Like reviewing the video and the audio, and all of a sudden you hear what sounds like a church bell in the distance. What the fuck is that? There's no church close by. Why am I hearing church bells? You hear this chiming, like a bell chiming. What the fuck is that? And it drove me fucking nuts. I contacted Sony and go, what the fuck's going on here? Oh, it's the inner mechanisms. It's the inner mechanisms moving the tape around. It makes that noise.
Wow.
So it's recording the the machinery, the drive turning. So it sounds like a little chime every once in a while. Fuck. And it's funny because I looked into people who were investigating the paranormal, and of course they were claiming this was fucking paranormal. Without doing their fucking due diligence, of course, without researching, it's automatically look, we got this ghost church bell in the distance. Hey, Nightlife, how are you?
Well, that's what's it called? The solar array that films the sun, looking for all the sunspots and flares and whatnot. And there was some footage. There's people who pop up footage and say, "Oh, look, it's a Space Odyssey 2001, spinning wheel, with like the space station, next to the sun." And what it actually was an internal gear that moves something inside the array that caused an artifact in the video, and and they just run with it, And the other one that gets me is exotic particles that hit the sensor and create little skid marks, that blips that streak across that would, at that distance, it would be doing, 350 million times the speed of light or something like this, It's like, fuck you, dickhead. It's an exotic particle that's like, if you were up there and literally, they did that on the during the Apollo program. They had the astronauts sit there with a black box over their head, so they couldn't see any light, completely blacked out. And then they had to report every time they saw a little flash or a streak in their vision, which are these, exotic particles that are radioactive. And as they run it, and as they skid across your optical your retina, which is it creates a little light that you can see, and it's the exact same thing with the solar array. So that's another one that pisses me off when I see these so-called UFO expert channels where they talk about there's this anomaly and this anomaly.
Yeah, once
transformers around the sun. That was this guy was saying they're like transformer robots around the sun. And it's like, oh, God.
Once they start saying they're experts, then you got to kind of think.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like they think they know more than anyone else. They don't know dick. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, so that's a red alert in my book. When I hear a so-called expert. Yeah. Okay. No worries.
Yeah. Expert.
I back in the day, when we first started broadcasting, we used to go after a lot of the so-called experts who would claim that they're, okay, and ask them about their evidence. And they would simply say, "Oh, well, you're just a fucking debunker." And I go, "No, I'm not a debunker. I want to know. I want to know why you're claiming this is evidence of the paranormal when you don't know, right?"
Hmm.
It's not about debunking. It's just like, I want to know. Tell me how is this evidence? Explain to me how this is evidence, without saying that it's evidence. And there's lots of people. There's lots of people out there that will automatically say they have evidence of the paranormal. Well, tell me what is evidence of the paranormal? Exactly, what is it?
Yeah.
Sounds like we're getting like EVP coming through here now.
Yeah.
So,
I'm still waiting for
that.
I'm still waiting for this thing to fly by us again, Matt.
Yeah, that was bizarre. I must
admit. That was bizarre. It was quite bizarre.
Because it definitely wasn't a schmeckle of dust, because it had some kind of structure to it. It was long and it was moving in,
Did you see it?
Almost.
Did you see it, John?
What's this?
Here, I'll play it.
Play it again. I probably was putting food on the plate at the time.
No, I haven't played it tonight.
No, you haven't played it. I'll put it on, man.
No, Steve's played it before, and it's something that he captured when whilst doing.
Oh, is this the thing in Las Vegas?
No.
No. All right.
No.
Sure.
Are you watching telly in the background, Crazy John? I'm wondering if that's where the sound's coming from.
No, the TV's on mute.
Yeah, there is some sort of
weird
sort of sound. Yeah.
I know, mate. No.
I don't know if I have. Well, I must have it somewhere. I don't know.
If we all mute ourselves one by one, we can tell who's coming from them.
I'll
got a phone call. I'm just going to take.
If it is, I'll turn it right down. I don't think it's all loud enough.
Here we go. There's ways of transferring the sound into an audible sort of frequency, and a friend of mine had. Wow, that was cool. Did you see that? And here comes the nefarious music.
Ooh. Wow. Whoa, I just caught a ghost. Whoa! Slow it down right at the end because you see the face.
Yeah, it's my face. Yeah,
you see something go. You see it go right through.
That's my face.
No, that's not your face. you're gonna do. Right, just above the off, you see a face.
You know, a lot of people have said they see a face in there somewhere.
Yeah, above the word of, you see it.
And Smith saying it's the poster's fitting. Yeah, yeah.
That's amazing. You just caught a ghost. I think it's just gone right through there.
I think it's somebody's got hold of some military flares.
Yeah. And the interesting thing about it though, John, is when that happened was just shortly after I got off Matt was on. He was live from a Welsh home with Claire. And they were doing some work in the Welsh home there, and you know, it was really weird what Claire had said, you know, about the fact, you know, Gareth. It's like, wow, that threw me for a loop when she said that.
I don't know, man. You're gonna have to show it again and slow it real down above the off, because you see a small thing like that right above the word off as it goes off. You see it, but you also see it transfer in as an orb.
Well, it's weird because Matt took some. Well, he recorded and took some footage too, and you could clearly see it starting in front of me, and then going like behind, and then sort of dipping down, right?
Yeah,
and I was explaining, because I mean the air vent is over here, and whatever air was coming through it, you figure it would be going the opposite direction. It wouldn't be going towards it.
No.
All right. Really weird.
Was it cold in the room when it happened?
No. Melissa thinks it's attracted to it's the box, the chest.
The box.
I have an old army chest here.
Oh.
Right.
Like a foot locker.
Yeah, an old army foot locker.
What, they belong to somebody like?
So yeah, so who knows?
Could be his
I've had all sorts of things, but yeah, pretty weird shit, eh?
Oh yeah, man, that looks distinctive, man.
Quinn thinks it's or a fairy.
I don't know. I mean, I've seen these things before. Like, I mean, I know that people say that most hauntings are rather fucking fake, but you do see orbs like that appearing on certain episodes. They did get it.
You know what? I'm not one for orbs, but I mean, if you visually see it, it's a different story. But if you just capture the orbs on video or photo, that's a different story. You're most likely you're looking at environmental. But I mean, if you visually see it, because I saw it, the only reason why I saw it was because of in the camera view here. I was like, okay, what the hell was that? Reacted to it.
Well, I had that as well in the house, didn't I? One night, what the fuck was that?
You know, I mean, you see it starting in front of me. You think, right, Matt? You think you'd see it, you know, sort of traveling in front and then in behind, but whatever.
I want to find the footage I got of me from years back, last year, I think it was, about when I think it was just after Gareth died. There's a live of me, and I got a doorway behind me on the other side. I used to have the room the other way around. There's a doorway at the back of me, and I seen something in that doorway walk through the door, and it was enough to get me to turn my back and go, "What the fuck was that?" Like, because I seen it in the you know, on the TV, on the monitor, to get me to look back, you know. And it was daylight as well, so it was early morning. The light was coming in through that area. So,
Tinkerbell. I just reading the comments. Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell. Yeah, it's unusual. I mean, whatever it is, it's just weird. To me, it's because, like I said, it how it's linked to what Matt and Claire were doing at the house there when we had them on live. So
I've always said, if Gareth wanted to get in touch, you try.
Well, I remember him saying several times, don't worry, guys, I'll haunt you. You know, if I pass away, I will make contact somehow. So was it Gareth? Who knows, right? But hey,
Be nice, wouldn't it?
I'm just looking for the cleanup I did of that that footage.
Yeah,
I've got some bits of it, but I was playing with it to try and enhance it so it was even more visible. Yeah.
Quite possible, Melissa. You never know.
Yes.
I mean, I got lots of interesting stuff in here.
Speaking of cleanup, yeah, I need Matt to wave his magic wand over that orange orb unusual video. See
yeah, I did find that again the other day. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I can send you the raw file anyway. Got it up on.
Oh, I've actually found it now. I found the clip. Not your one. The one that I enhanced of Steve. Yeah, let me just see if I can find some of the other cleanup versions I did.
Nitro agrees with me on mine. He says looks like a face.
Well, a few people have mentioned that they see some sort of facial feature there,
and it's enough to get you to shiver because it's not your face; it's something else.
Well, you see myself on the reflection on the poster, but no, that's totally different.
That's totally different because it's moving.
I did do like a zoom in version of this.
You did, yeah, I remember that.
Don't know where that's gone.
Spooky.
Smith said, "Hey Jojo, how are you? Thanks for popping in." Smith says it has a shine to it. Yeah, it's like it doesn't seem to be illuminated by anything other than itself.
By itself, yeah. Especially when it starts to appear.
Mm-hmm. But the cleanup version that Matt did, you could clearly see it starting in front, and then moving in behind, and then sort of doing its dip sort of thing.
Doing its dip, yeah, just above the word off. You see it. You see it. I've seen it there.
Oh, here we go. Here
we are. Now, bear in mind that what I've done is I've duplicated over the frames, but it kind of gives you a bit of a lead in on where this thing comes from because it starts. Can you see my cursor?
I'll pull it up.
Oh, okay.
Here we go. Yeah, see your cursor.
You see the cursor? Well, it starts. If you watch it to the left, it seems to sort of come in maybe about here. This could be an artifact. Yeah. But it seems to start about there.
Yeah.
Then it makes its way across here.
Yeah.
So I'm going back and forth. So it makes its way across there. Then it jumps. That's the bit where it leaps. It leaps.
Yeah.
And see where it comes to about here?
Yeah. It jumps from there to there.
It jumps from there, whoosh, to there.
Yeah.
So it goes whoosh. And then, but bear in mind, one of these is a shadow of the same thing. So, but it kind of helps you to see it when it's streaking. So I've kind of introduced the shadow. So you see two copies of it there. There's two copies of it.
Yeah.
But it shows you where it's coming. But can you see the way it changes shape?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
That's really bizarre.
You know? But it jumps again, you see. It sort of goes whoosh up here. Then it stops. And then it changes shape and goes at a different speed there. But it's whoosh. So it goes whoosh up there, change speed, change shape. Whoosh. So
that's really bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah. That appears right over the of.
And what's this you were saying about the of?
But you see I saw a face above the letter of at the end as it dips down and as you say it jumps. And then it's like on a lower bit and it goes over the word of, and you see it. You see a shape like a nosal feature with two eyes. It's there. It's very small though. You gotta literally. It's a blink and you miss it moment, but you gotta when you slow it down, like you see it.
Why would it zoom in? Normally it zooms in more than this.
Yeah. Oh, wait.
I don't know. It won't zoom in for some reason. I thought I could zoom it into that area, but yeah, I can't. Don't know why it's not doing it, but it does when you're in a small screen.
I got different monitors here. I'm looking at trying to get it on.
Oh, might have it here.
I'm not seeing anything specifically, but what I could do is I could just zoom the actual footage itself, so we could just see in that corner, move it over here like that, and then have a look above the word of, as you say.
Right there, yeah.
Right there, like right. You see it coming in there, and as it goes down past the E, and then it levels off on the OF.
Yeah,
you see it. If you bring that right up, you see it.
You know that. Do you know that's Steve though? Don't you? There.
Yeah, I know that's Steve. I can see Steve on the word E.
E.
Right, but below E on the OF, when we had Steve's footage, like, and it was close up, you see it. It's literally like something looks in the mirror. It's like looks back and says, "Here I am," and then goes.
Right about there, you see a bit of
I see what you mean.
Yeah, you see it. You see it coming in.
I do see what you mean. It's sort of like looks like a nose and eyes. Yeah, very tiny.
Nose, eyes, like almost like hooded, maybe.
Yeah. And as it gets down lower to the OF, it looks right in there, and you see it there.
Right there.
Yeah, literally. It's a blink and miss it moment.
Wow.
See, look there. Yeah, it's like there.
Yeah, right there.
Right on the end.
Yeah.
Wow. It got me, man. It got me shivering when I seen it because I thought, wow, man, that's just not right.
Yeah, it really does look like a reflection
crazy
on glass of someone's face.
Reflection of someone's face.
Yeah.
I'm not going mad here, am I?
You
definitely
see
it.
I see it almost above the T and between the T and the
H.
Yeah,
as it's introduced into
now as you bring it in more and more, like you do now definitely see it
up there,
and then but as it goes down past
into the dark area, in the dark area above the
OF,
you really see it.
It like gives you that last look before it vanishes. You know, whatever it is, it's like going, here I am, go. See, look, real. Oh.
Is it a banshee?
Is it?
It's
like
one thing's for sure is it's not a speck of dust. You know,
no, that's not.
It can't be a reflection if because what it jumps up there and comes back down. It means it isn't a reflection.
No, it's not a
reflection.
And that poster.
That
poster doesn't have glass.
Yeah, definitely.
That's just a printed sheet of poster.
Well, you're saying that though, it's got a good reflection of Steve in it though.
But that's you're right.
You see my reflection. Yeah,
I see your glasses.
You see the glasses, everything. Yeah,
but that thing definitely comes down, man, and it looks
the speed it jumps from there up.
Yeah,
is interesting.
So that reflection, is that from your monitor? So you're facing.
I'm facing the monitor.
Yeah, and the monitor's like projecting that back onto the poster, and the poster's actually reflecting it.
Exactly, and that's how I noticed it. I saw it. I saw it in the view of the monitor. I'm like, hey, what was that? Right. Yeah. So I react to it. I'm like, what's that? What was that?
I guess you're looking back, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that laminated, that poster, or is it just that's just the?
No, that
glossy
poster's got
paper.
glass on it.
Yes, it's laminate. Well, it's in a
Perspex.
it's a frame poster. Yes.
Oh,
That's a
okay.
frame.
No worries.
But that's why you can see it more. The
So
reflection.
you got the reflection.
Hmm.
Telling you, man, there's something in that room, right? Like, I'd almost say it looks a bit like the Master's cloak face. You know, out of that Star Wars. It's got that demonic.
Grand Tarkin or whatever his name. No.
Palpatine, isn't it?
Yeah, Palpatine. Yeah.
So you got that Palpatine sort of shat, that cloth.
Phantom of the Opera. B
Face,
says it looks like the Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah. So, well, will we ever get to the bottom of that one?
Crazy shit, man.
Crazy.
Crazy. I gotta see if I can get some still shots of it too. Yeah, that's crazy.
You're gonna have to, the closer you get it, the more blurred it gets, doesn't it? That's the problem.
Well, blurred or not, I mean, we could probably get some sort of stills from it.
I don't know. There's something on that perspex, whatever you got on that posting, like
crazy. It's crazy. It's almost as crazy as John. Crazy John. Yeah, that's insane, man. Like I said, I only reacted because I saw something visually moving by me on the monitor.
Yeah.
So then I looked at the live stream. I reviewed the live stream and said, yeah, definitely something happened. Is it connected to what Matt? Yep. What Matt and Claire were, because they were investigating an old Welsh home at the time, and then Matt was telling her what was going on, but then Claire was mentioned, is he affiliated with that guy that passed away, Gareth? She had no idea that I knew Gareth. She had no idea. And it's just very intriguing that she mentioned Gareth.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm like, wow, that when Matt told me that totally threw me for a loop. I'm like, wow. Okay. I'm not much for psychics or anything like that, but it just very weird.
I'll tell you a crazy one that happened not so long back, and Melissa would back us up on this. Was on that the guy Mark, the Scouts bloke who does the ghostly adventures.
Okay.
He was at this place, and I mentioned about my.
Oh, you mean Ghost Adventures of Cornwall?
Yeah, Ghost Adventures of Cornwall, right?
Yeah,
and I was talking about they were in this place in Budok, it was an old mental home. And my sister-in-law worked there. Okay. And I said, "Oh, mention a name." So we mentioned the name, and then it came up, Reverend Green, and that was her father. And it came on the radio, so they were doing the radio thing. Just came up, shit. Reverend Green. I was like, whoa,
that's crazy.
Yeah, and I know that. I mean, yeah,
it's weird how fucking shit like that plays out. It just really is. I don't care what anybody says. You can be as skeptical as you want to be. There's always that sense of weirdness that plays out no matter what.
Yeah, I've never tried to record an EVP, but it definitely interests me. Have you ever tried, Steve?
What, EVPs?
Yeah.
EVPs. Oh, dude. Okay, so
I know.
So you okay? I'm gonna play this for you. I'm gonna play this for you, okay, Dinkum, and I want you to tell me what you think of this. Okay. Let me find. I've played this a million times, but we'll play because you have not heard this, Dinkum. There you go.
Yeah, I have. I know. I was just setting you up.
You know what
so you could play the video.
You know what I'm thinking of?
Yeah. Throw the ball. Oh, the singing.
No. That still brings shivers to
Do you
my
know what?
bone.
And they don't even understand what she's saying.
It's definitely sounds another language, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely another language. She's singing in a foreign language.
Yeah.
I don't care if you can't make it out. You obviously hear.
Are you going to play it again? Go on.
I'll play it again. Sure.
That's the first time I've heard it in headphones, and
okay.
It is
Oh, mate, I've heard
amazing.
it. Yeah, and it's definitely.
I was trying to work out whether she was trying to say something like and pray to thee my soul to keep.
Yeah.
Is there a bloke speaking in the background as well? Because I hear a bloke.
Okay, so what you hear? What you hear is you hear people downstairs.
Right, downstairs. Right.
Downstairs in the kitchen area.
Yeah.
And the camera guy is. I always get somebody to visually document a location. And so he's just visually documenting the location. He's went upstairs to the top level.
And he was up
there's an attic area too, but he's up in the bedroom level, and he just went up the stairs. And as you get up the stairs, there's this picture of this, what you saw there, this girl in period piece, which happens to be a famous painting called Cherry Ripe. And it's named after a song of the same name, Cherry Ripe, an old English tune. And
the name of a chocolate bar here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, really? And so I thought, okay, maybe, hey, coincidence. Maybe it has something to do with the song, but no, it has nothing. You don't hear nothing, no resemblance at all. But you do hear her reciting or singing, but more, to me, it seems more like she's reciting something.
Yeah, it's almost like a nursery rhyme.
Yeah,
nursery rhyme. Yeah, she's singing it in a foreign language.
And there were no children on that location at the
Absolutely time. Nobody. I mean,
was he up there on his own?
With him, there was nobody with him upstairs in that upper level. Nobody. Absolutely nobody.
So that is
because it's definitely a child.
It's a young, I'd say that was a young girl's voice.
A young girl's voice, yeah.
Yeah, about say 12, 13.
Yeah, it just, and it's funny because it sat there for like 10 years before I discovered it, because when I initially went through the footage, I did not notice that. And then 10 years later, I started putting together a documentary for the 10th anniversary of investigating this location, because we go in there yearly. Still, we still go in there. A fascinating place. But I started reviewing the footage, and then I'm like, hey, wait, what's that? What the hell is that? So, yeah, it's a vape. I'm like, okay, fuck, man. How did I miss that the first time? 10 years later, bang. It's like, wow, such a great find. No, the pain is...
It's eerie, mate.
The painting is actually English. I mean, it's an English painting.
Well, then she's speaking some sort of dialect that's... Really?
I mean, I have all sorts of people saying, well, is it German? Is it French? It's not French or German.
No.
I
would say that was some sort of really early English.
It's English because I'm thinking of the family that lived there in that house. They were English. They were English.
Yeah.
That house is now used as a museum to give you, like, if you were to walk in there, all it is to give you a glimpse of what it was like to live on a farm here in Canada at the turn of the century.
Right. So they're people who've
Right.
come from England to Canada.
Well, yeah, I mean, primarily it
Yeah.
was English. I mean, yeah, you did have French, obviously, but I
Yeah.
mean, primarily in this region, it was English.
Be interesting if there was an AI filter that could analyze that and recognize either the
What
the
language
words
it
being
is.
spoken or the melody.
Yeah.
You know,
True.
Yeah. True.
True.
Yeah, I got one for you. I don't think
Yep.
you've seen this. I don't think you've seen this one before, Steve.
Okay, let's see. Okay, let me just
Captured something quite anomalous. Let me have a look. Entire screen. We do that screen over there. Hey, look, there's camera conspiracies. Is up on the thing now. This is the guy from Camera Conspiracies. He's doing a piss take. You know, Tony Northrup does the he's a camera guy.
Okay.
But he likes to film himself out of focus. So this guy is ripping him for about half an hour about like being out of focus. He's like just a complete rant about it. Anyway, so I will bring up now. Hang on, here it is. This is my visitation of Watership Down.
Beautiful.
So basically, it starts off, with like clips from the Watership Down, and then it shows you the areas. So, like, what I do is I show you like a clip. Like, see, that's the clips of the pylons.
Yeah.
And then I show you where the pylons actually are. And I show you the hill, and I show you where the real hill is. So I kind of, you're not probably not hearing audio, but there's the pylons.
Okay.
And so basically I take you through it. So if anyone hasn't seen that video, I like this video. It's one of my favorites actually.
It's great.
Yeah.
Right, have a look at this now. I tell you what, you should have the audio. You might get some copyright issues, but you should have the audio because it's just the timing is correct. Hang on, I'll bring it back up for you now with audio.
Okay.
So let me present it again.
So for people who don't know or seen the movie, it's an animated movie about animals, predominantly rabbits living out in Watership Down in that region. And what Matt's done is filmed it aerial by drone and showing all the
showing the true
the scenery.
It really looked like
Okay.
It's based on this guy who used to go up there and took his kids up there and told them like little stories about he made up these stories about rabbits, and they said, "Oh, Dad, you should write about that." So he actually made it into a book for his children.
Okay.
But it's all based around where he lived in this area. It's quite graphic and quite it scares kids. This Watership Down. Have you actually seen it, Steve?
I have not seen it. No, I have not.
Wow.
You've got to
Wow.
It is.
It's shocking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shocking.
It's quite, yeah. Anyway, so can you hear sound from it?
No
Can you hear
sound.
the sound?
No. Let me just make sure.
No sound.
Let me see audio.
Why didn't the sound come out? That's weird.
That's weird.
Audio
is on.
Okay. I don't know what. Well, anyway, what I was going to say is there's a flute playing, and then you hear the harp, like a harp goes dling, and just as the harp goes dling, something pops out of the sky, and I didn't see it. Somebody pointed it out to me. I was like, "Fuck!" I never even realized that was in the footage.
That was me.
So
I pointed it out.
Was it years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. Watch.
As soon as I saw it, I said, "What the hell's that?"
Ready? Diddling, 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 ding, bring.
Oh
There
yeah.
Did you see it?
I saw that.
Yeah.
What
So
the
let's just bring it back.
What the hell is that?
So I'll go through it slowly. Look.
That is crazy.
Right.
As soon as I saw it, I messaged Matt and said, "What the fuck is that, man?" And he's
what is that?
And he's seen it before one other time with his drone.
Yeah. So there we are.
Matt, what is that?
What is it?
Yeah.
Well, I think
crazy.
Should be, and if I can follow it upwards as well, so you can see it like just as it goes into the into the sky, and when it goes down, you can follow it right to the edge of the frame.
Don't tell me it's a rod, okay?
No. I think it, now, bear in mind, you can see that I am flying. The drone is flying, so you can see the drone flying across the ground. Yeah. So
Gareth's saying, is it a spider?
I think it's a spider web.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a spider web. It's one of these floating webs that's up there, glinting off the sun. Yeah. And I'm the one giving it the motion because I'm the one flying.
Because you're flying.
Up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I'm the one giving it that kind of change of angle because I'm whizzing along, going upwards. So if you get it back to like normal perspective, and you can see that even though it doesn't look like I'm moving much, that's because I'm in the air. So the ground doesn't look like it's moving much. But of course, anything that's whizzing past your camera quite quickly, you know.
Plus, there's also wind. There'd probably be wind as well.
And that's pretty straightforward too. I mean,
yeah.
So what they call that is ballooning.
But there are people out there that would go, look at this. I've got a UFO. Yeah. I've got a ghost. I've got all sorts of shit.
Yeah, it got me going for a while, but I think I kind of worked it out, that it is just this phenomena. And then I took one again, where I was seeing this object seem to sort of jump up out of the ground, which was a weird one because it's a bit like yours. It's like it seemed to be far away, then it seemed to sort of jump in the air and then come towards. And I think that was a spider web as well. I'm kind of, my best analysis on it is probably a spider web. So, but it's just lucky. Crazy. I've caught two, which is crazy. Like, I mean, some people never see these.
Matt, in the beginning, though, Matt, you were probably amazed, though.
Yeah, it was for a bit.
Fuck.
Yeah.
But at least you took the time to look. Okay, there's a simple explanation for this. Most people won't.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I got something paranormal here.
Ooh! You know that that audio clip? Send it over to me because I've got
which one?
The girl singing thing.
Okay, I will. Yeah.
Send it over to me because I've got this AI noise cleaner, which is actually it cleans my mic now, so that if I play music, you won't hear music.
Okay.
So I think it's turned on, but if I was to I don't know, play music. Let me try and play music. It should cancel out the music, but you'll just hear my voice.
Okay.
So let me just see if I've got something that looks like it's probably got music on it. Let's try this. See what happens. Come on. No? All right, okay. Try something else. How do you know what's got bloody music in it? Should we just type in techno or something like that? Hang on, techno.
Like PC3, that way it's got no copyright.
Yeah, all right. PC3 music. All right. PC3 reach out return. So can you hear music playing?
Yep.
Yeah.
You can. Okay. Yep. Maybe the filter isn't in then. Hang on, microphone. Noise removal. Oh, maybe I haven't. Maybe I'm not using the correct audio. Oh, that's why, because I'm not on broadcast. Right.
Okay. Now I don't hear music.
Right.
It's gone.
It's gone.
I was taking a direct line into StreamYard on my. Now you're getting the direct feed noise clean.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, this is playing music right now. I'll show you. You can't hear the music. So you
all I hear is you telling me to fuck off. No, I just
There's music playing there now.
Yeah.
If I turn it off in the settings, I'll prove to you. So there now, that's the music's coming through. Yeah,
that's cool.
And if I turn it on, then there's no music.
No,
now,
scrubs it.
Wow.
This is artificial intelligence stuff. You can actually get it to clean up your audio. And if you've got dogs barking, sound of you tapping on your keyboard whilst you're actually speaking to people, they won't hear the keyboard. They'll just hear you. Now,
Does it
I
get rid
wonder
of
if
wind noise?
I'll send
oh,
you.
yeah,
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 I'll
really
send,
good.
I'll send you the
Really
audio,
good.
Mike. Sorry.
Send it to me, and we'll just see if it cleans out the extraneous noise but leaves the voice.
I will do that. I will send you the audio.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Because it knows what a human voice sounds like, and it knows what isn't a human voice, so it just cleans everything else out. It can sometimes obliterate it. If it's not loud enough or clear enough, it'll just get rid of it, but yeah.
Oh, just filter me out because I'm a marsupial.
Yeah. Do we have like a still screen of John? John hasn't moved in the past half hour.
No, I was trying to find a picture. I did have a picture once. I've known that we caught something in the Palace Theatre once in a photograph right over the top of the theatre, and we took a shot over the balcony, and there's this great big white thing coming in the shot of the picture. I can't find the picture anywhere to show it to people, but it was like a real bad, it's like weird.
In Plymouth, yeah?
Yeah, in Plymouth, in the Palace Theatre, Plymouth. We were in the top part. My friend Cher was with me, and we were both in the top, right in the top. She had a mobile phone, and she took a picture over the top, and this white thing just appears in the shot. And there was another picture, and he wasn't there at all. And at the time that it happened, there was a smell of perfume in the air, But my Cher wasn't wearing any perfume that day. She said, I haven't got anything on, and I said, well, there's a strong smell of it, I can't find the picture, I've lost it somewhere.
Strange anomalies that this world presents.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we did 3 pictures of that area, and it was only one it appeared.
I've just had one of my viewers has written to me and basically said, yeah, I might be gay, if you're up for something. I'm like, fucking hell, you're right. You just can't write to people and fucking offer yourself. I mean, for fuck's sake.
We're not talking about the same guy that asked you. Hey, you're mad at the secret vault guy, right?
Yeah. Can I come on some explores with you? And I said to him, look, if everybody who asked me who wants to go on explores, I would not be doing the explores anymore because I've become a fucking tour guide and I wouldn't have time. Yeah. Because the whole fucking world wants to go on and explore with me.
Just reply back to him, Matt, with the link to Grindr.
Grindr. Yeah.
www.grindr.com,
No names mentioned, but you know who you are. You just wrote to me. Yeah.
It's hilarious.
And people write to me as well. I was like, can I have some stickers? And I said, yeah. Are you a member or have you donated? And they just go, here's my address. And I'm like, you just avoided answering the fucking question, so I just send them out, but it's like fucking, I don't know. I can't be asked to go looking through the list of who has and who hasn't,
Matt, you want to trade stickers? Let's trade stickers, Matt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But are yours scratch and sniff, Steve?
No. Unfortunately, that was out of my ballpark. Sorry, guys. Mine is peel and reel.
Yeah, Steve. I don't know if you can send it over. I'm curious now because now I've thought about it. I'm going to be bugged until I actually try it. But are you able to email it?
Well, I could do that. I can even send it through
if it's small enough.
Yeah, it's let me remember. I do have your email. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me just. Sounds like there's Some birds
Someone's
in the
got
background.
birds in the background.
Birds in the
Oh,
background.
that would be me. Yeah. Sorry, they're noisy bastards around here. I've got the window open just a couple of inches.
Yeah, why haven't you got your AI noise cleaner turned on?
Yeah. I don't know.
We wouldn't hear anything then. It could be like bin man outside and wouldn't hear any of it.
Yeah. I could be John. You wouldn't hear that either. Yeah.
Just see a slight vibration in the camera. He's sending it. He's busy sending it.
Let me know if you got it, Matt. It's
okay. Oh,
you got it?
Not yet. No. It's this guy who's offering himself to me has just sent me a photo of himself, like, you know, wearing a woman's wig and like topless.
Oh my god!
And his telephone and his fucking telephone number. I fucking kid you not. No.
Is he any good?
Is he any good?
Obviously.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Wow.
That'll come in handy on those lonely nights, you know.
I usually only get attracted to people once I know them. I'm not attracted by physicality. I'm attracted by intellect and
boring people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mick Spanner says name and shit.
You get it yet?
Yeah, I got it now. Yeah, thanks.
Okay,
I'm just saving it out, and I'm going to bring it in, and we'll have a quick look.
Should be interesting.
Hey, man. I mean, you like your movies, yeah? And Watership Down actually fucking seriously scarred a lot of children's minds.
It did. Like, it was as bad as like Disney's like bloody
Watership Down.
Bambi.
Watership Down.
As bad as that.
Yeah.
It's worse than Bambi.
It's quite aggressive in some bits, you know. There's like, and it's a head fuck, you know, like it's nasty.
Well, the rabbits are kind of militarized, aren't they? You know, they're like got a sergeant major kind of thing going on, and
it's all like twisted, you know. So like the life of a rabbit is not like all sort of fun and games.
When the ghost rabbit appears, and then you got Garfunkel in the background singing.
Watership Down. Okay. Jojo says it scared her for life.
Yeah, it's very dark, and
it's dark at the end, like especially when there's a lot of blood in it.
And there's also another movie exactly the same, which is with dogs, along the same sort of lines. I mean, with animated, with but it's about dogs at all the animal testing.
Porton Down is called Plague Dogs. It's called
Plague Dogs.
And it's by the same author.
Yeah.
Same author. Yeah.
Follow the Black Rabbit.
Richard Adams.
That's the one.
Yeah. And that's the place that I drove my car around, you know, and sort of like they pointed the guns at me, and it was like, when I tell you to stop, I mean stop. I was like,
that's it, Mr. Fuzzy Face,
Mr. Bumfluff Face. Yeah.
Well, Steve, you would know some of the animation from Porton Down the movie in Bright Eyes, Simon and Garfunkel. That song is the I guess it's the main theme song for the movie, and those animated sequences in the music video clip is from Porton Down the movie.
Okay.
It's
Mick saying stop.
It's one of those. It's one of those things that made Garfunkel's entire career, didn't it? Solo.
Yeah.
You know,
it did.
I think there was a little bit of bane and contempt between the two of them. Like after that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I know he was never too chuffed about Paul Simon's career, like, you know.
The answer is that it cleans it completely. It can't pick it out of the noise. It just everything goes quiet.
Scrubs.
So unfortunately, it doesn't help.
Yeah, it sees it as background interference noise and filters it out. What you want is what it's filtering out almost. And if you could run it in reverse, like reverse polarity, in the negative, what it's erasing. If you could hear what it's erasing, that would be the bits that you want, really, isn't it?
I have got some other noise cleaners. I'll play with it. So,
it's almost like an enhancement, what you need, isn't it, to bring out what's already there.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know what it is. I swear the one you played was cleaner. I don't know if it's the same. Is this like being tweaked with? Because when you just played it to us, I could have sworn I heard it a bit clearer. But I mean, you probably have sent me the right one. But if you have sent me the right one, what I've just done has cleaned it. You can hear the voice a lot clearer. Hang on.
Hmm. Steve's just gone for a tinkle. He'll be back. Here, Melissa, everything sounds creepier backwards. I don't know if you've ever heard Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah, I have. I've heard it backwards.
Yeah, the verse that goes, if there's a bustle in your hedgerow. If you listen to that whole verse backwards, virtually, to me, every single word makes sense, backwards as well as forwards. And I mean, there are some videos that say, oh, it's saying this, it's saying that. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. I mean, that was back in the 80s when they were doing these, playing it in reverse off of just magnetic tape. But if you do it digitally, from a digitally remastered CD and play it backwards, it's pretty impressive.
There's a couple of tunes, wasn't there? I think there's a couple of Black Sabbath tunes as well.
Yeah, they were definitely doing it deliberately. It's just the message that's in there that's the disturbing part, especially if you start to research some of it. Yeah, the Beatles, that was another one. That's right.
Yeah, the Beatles,
Yeah, and like the one, where it's like, Paul's dead, I think it's on the White Album. And then you find out about the whole, lookalike competition and but it was only for Paul, and then when you look, there are some subtle differences going back through photos.
Do you know what? It's a big debate, and even Paul McCartney's talked about it as well. He goes, "Yeah, I'm supposed to be dead."
Well, see, there's another one for AI. Can it pick the difference between the Paul before and the Paul after?
Yeah.
Just by vocal print,
When was it supposed to die? Was it 66? Wasn't it? Somebody was supposed to die. I can't remember what it was.
Sure.
It was in a car crash, wasn't it?
You can look exactly like someone, I mean.
Well, then he goes to the Billy Shears theory, didn't you? When they go Billy Shears.
You can look like someone, but you can't never sound exactly like someone. And even when you look, it's the looks are slightly different. But yeah, I'm sure these things could be easily proved.
I don't know. That's been going on for years, isn't it? And
yeah.
Who knows? The only way we're going to find out is if he's on his deathbed and he says, "By the way, I'm not Paul Dunn."
Well, I don't know if have you ever noticed Putin's double? Like he's got a double.
Yeah, well,
And
Hitler had three.
What the cancer infused dude?
Well, no, Putin, like the Russian, you know.
Yeah.
There are two Putins. One that never goes anywhere near anybody. All right, sits at 30 feet up the other end of a table, and then you've got the Putin who mingles with the people, and they one has slightly you can see cheek like filler in his cheeks, and he just looks just that fraction slightly different. I can pick it straight away. Only because I've sort of looked at a lot of pictures, just trying to figure out whether or not it's the real Putin or not in an image.
Mm-hmm.
The other funny thing is that one of the Putins wears high-rise shoes. They've got an inch and a quarter thick soles on them to get his height up. So
he's not a very tall.
Nah,
dude, either. He's pretty short.
Let's say this. At the end of the day, he's not the first guy to do it, is he? I mean, Hitler had three. So,
Yeah, he's definitely got some fucking personal issues, that's for sure. But,
when Avril Lavigne died years ago, I know as far as I know.
No, Avril Lavigne, as far as I know, has got Lyme's disease. That's all she's got.
Yeah, she had Lyme disease. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That'll screw your voice up big time.
That'll fuck you up in the end. I know a mate of mine who's got that, though.
Yeah, my niece had Lyme's disease.
Well, that's from like deer ticks, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's from deer and horse flies as well.
So that happened to that American singer, the country and western singer. What's her name? Man, I feel like a woman. Shania Twain.
She's Canadian.
Was she Canadian? Sorry.
She's Canadian,
Sorry, Steve. I didn't mean to insult your culture, mate.
That's okay. That's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, she basically it screwed her career, but she's slowly gotten better. It's taken years.
Mate of mine, like he's got it, and he's in a real bad state. He ended up in hospital at one stage, out on a heart machine.
Depends how quickly. Again, how quickly you diagnose.
You treat it. If you treat it within hours.
If you treat it right away, you're good.
Yeah, you will sort you out. If you leave it alone and it shows up red skin,
that's the problem. Like, for instance, here in Canada, as opposed to the U.S., Canada, it's a slower fucking diagnosis. It's a fucking joke. But in the U.S., they're pretty quick with diagnosing Lyme's disease. Here, it's a joke.
Yeah. Well, I do blame Canada for Enya, though. That's horrible.
No, it's ridiculous. It really is.
I thought she was Irish. Is she
Irish? Enya's all right. There's nothing wrong with Enya. I love them and Clennat.
Shania Twain.
They've got every single album of Enya's.
Here you go, then. Here you go, Steve. See what you think of this, then.
Hey,
I've managed to clean it up a bit.
Here we go.
So, can you hear the audio?
Yep.
You can hear that, right? Well, this is the original volume level. When I apply the effect, it'll clean off a lot of it, but you'll hear the singing come out a bit more. So here's the original. Okay, listen to it again now with the voice enhanced. Okay, I need to boost the audio, but now I can put on spectral denoise as well. Listen to this. Now, if I go into there's a nested sequence here somewhere. If I go into that, right, where is it? If I nest the sequence like that, if I boost this up now so you can hear it properly, like about 12 dB. Yeah. Did you hear it? It's like a little bit bit
Very.
clearer, but yeah.
Hmm.
I'm gonna play with it a bit. Play with it a bit more. This is not the ideal software to do it in Premiere, but
I'm hearing a lot of the background, like a lot of the background. I
I wonder if
hear.
Soundforge or something would be better.
Yeah, I would say Soundforge. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I'll play with it. Because I reckon you can get rid of that noise that is over the top. You can get rid of that to leave the sound that's underneath.
So
exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's just my first attempt. So
yeah, it's an interesting track. What it is, who knows? It's just really weird. But it's one of many things that have happened there over the 10 years that we've been in there. It's just crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
But anyways, guys, I'm gonna end this.
Rightio.
Okay.
And
we shall catch you soon.
Yeah. Matt, keep in touch with the how you doing with that, man, because I really want to know what you get out of this. So that's awesome. Guys,
we will do.
Take care.
All the best.
Cheers. Thanks for having us up.
Yeah.
Cheers now.
Crazy John. Take care, buddies.
Take care.
Thanks a lot. Cheers now.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.